Dumb on the bass, yeah?
And I think of all the things like what you're doing. In my head, I paint a picture. Yeah. Since I come home, where my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Little, why don't you come on over?
Stay connected through The Link each morning on Breeze 93.9 FM.
Each way that the wind blows, gonna follow, la 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 la. Each way that the wind blows, gonna follow. Each way that the wind blows, I'm gonna follow. Ooh, yeah. Falling wishing that I come to you. Hold me now, now when we'll bring it to you. And I'm breezy, your face, hitting your skin. Opening, I'm longing for your embrace. Said it feels so nice. You make me wanna sing the same song twice. I said that feeling so nice. You make me wanna sing the same song twice. Oh yeah. La da da da. Oh 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 oh. La la la, ooh, yeah. La da da, ooh, 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 la la. To the way that I've been used to stay the same no matter what season. Well, you're bound to the way that I've been used to stay the same no matter what season. Ooh, yeah. La da da. La, ooh, yeah.
listening to The Link with Chris and Sabrina on Breeze 93.9.
Don't be afraid when your boyfriend goes away. He's not thinking about you anyway. No, maybe for the first couple of days, but after that, he'll be on his way. You know why? 'Cause boys come and go. Come and go. Boys come and go. Oh yeah. Girls come and go. Girls come and go. Girls come and go. Oh yeah. So forget the roses, chocolates, candies, and cards, 'cause he's not doing it to get close to your heart. No, all he wants is all he can. You'll get what I'm talking about when you understand that boys come and go. Come and go. Boys come and go. Oh yeah. Girls come and go. Girls come and go. Girls come and go. Oh yeah. Now if he says he loves you, girl, then let him wait for you. Call you every night and bring you flowers too. He'll be dedicated, might seem like a fairy tale. He's trying to get it with you, girl, most anywhere. Now he'll wanna hold your hand, to say that he'll be there. He'll look into your eyes and tell you that he cares. Might sing a lullaby, say girl you're beautiful, but don't fall into some lies, girl you're beautiful. 'Cause boys come and go. Come and go. Boys come and go, oh yeah. Girls come and go. Girls come and go. Girls come and go, oh yeah.
Così uli di sombranzelten meg, e zu te saluda antes di niga. Radzaudzan malak estrezas durante in todo il memu a nogi distancia como kupugi palu zaniman malak guafi con una sugi airi preba tu la noci nai banderata gaigi pues atan fanni bandera kau esta pagua pumalapa gilo tanu man libri sentami ti man ko badi
녹이 잠모루 버리자노자 간자마 주노 야기 조루 이루가 Paraíona, Paraí Gloria, a big islas en Paraíona, Paraí Gloria, a big islas en Toru y tempo y paz, paraíso, zangin na bendición. Contra peligro, na avança fuam, Deus protege land. Contra peligro, na avança fuam, Deus protege land.
sun never stops shining. Let me take you to an island where the sun never stops shining. Can
Can I take you to a place I call home? Down south in Pneumatic where my family roams. It's a hot summer day and we all kicking back, sipping on a cold one. Now what you think about that? That's life. Here on this island paradise. Yo, I'm going back soon, but I might think twice, cause that city life is way too fast. Yo, I'd rather stay and gone because this life is bad. Ass and beaches, surrounded by my nature. No need to worry about these player haters and my culture. I got love for my people, still rapping Guam, staying true to my chat loose. Let me take you to an island where the sun never stops shining. Let me take you to an island where the sun never stops shining.
I come representing Guam, USA. Raised on a hill in the Ville by the bay. Y to the O and to the Izzy. Me scooped out on the mic getting busy. Y'all know this pot. Cruising the day, then park the spot after dark in the village. Jordan is where you'll find me. Or down in Naval Mag with my nails right beside me. We just chillin', cause that's the way we do. Call the Chelus, tell them we gon' barbecue. The crew rollin' by tonight. We got Slim on the left and YD to the right.
Let me take you to an island where the sun never stops shining. Let me take you to an island where the sun never stops shining. I gotta get some brew, cause I just got paid. Put up the canopy to get some shade, so we could kick back like it was nothing at all, while my primos and my homies playing basketball. The day is going smooth the way I thought it would be. Me and my family by the coconut tree, relaxed, waiting for the food to be done. My nephew's calling me to play one-on-one. I said, wait boy, I have to make the tanak, and once I get finished, I cook the tatagat, so we can chow down like we never did. Call everybody, especially the kids. We're just kicking back in the village. All the kids are playing around with the family. We're just kicking back on the island. Memories we're talking about with just you and me.
Oh yeah. We're here in the beautiful island of Guam, chilling down in the wonderful village of Pneumatic. It's a beautiful day today. Sun shining bright, shimmering along the bay. Family, children laughing around. That's how we do it down here on my island.
Let me take you to an island where the sun never stops shining.
Here we go. Here we go.
Let me take you to an island
Yeah.
where the sun never stops shining.
Morning, Guam. Huh. Good morning, guys. Different one, guys. Good morning, Sabrina.
Good morning.
Morning, Jason Solis.
Good morning.
Mike V. Good morning. What a beautiful day it is outside. You guys see that? Little pink, orange.
Nice.
Mike with the sunrise cam. It's Thursday, April 8th. Good morning on you. Good morning, Facebook Live. Thank you guys for all your kind comments. Rosemary LaGuardia, Ben and Luan Duenas, first one in. Rosemary LaGuardia, good morning, team. Our friend Rudy Rodolfo Jr. over at Burger King. Thank you so much. That Steakhouse King, wow. Oh, boy. Let me tell you guys, I don't often have a Steakhouse King for breakfast, but when I do, oh, man, I'll tell you what. Thank you, Rudy. Teresa, Elizabeth Aganapati, Buenos Guam. Good morning, KUAM team. Morning, Bree.
Where's that song coming from?
I don't know.
Outside.
Let me shut the door.
Okay.
Yeah, she writes, Buenos Guam. Good morning, KUAM team. Chamarita Rages, Hafaday. Good morning, Chris, Sabrina, Jason, Mike V, KUAM Guam, the CNMI from the beautiful hillside of Sinanya. Remedio Shorter, Hafaday. My family's and friends in Guam from Hollister, California. Love listening to you all. Mama Bear Debbie Davis just got her first vaccine shot. I saw that. I know. Congrats. John Bukat in Iran in the house. Hafaday, good morning, Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and Joe, sir. From beautiful Inalahan. Remedio says, especially the opening of the show in the morning, it makes my day. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for that. He says, opening ceremony is so beautiful. It makes me so homesick. but I love it every morning. Blessings to all. Ken Paulino, good morning. Francis Dunca, good morning. Bree, Chris, Jason, the KUAM team. Connie, Big Owl Ball, good morning. Guam. Mo, Lalia, good morning and have a great day. Be safe. Yeah, it's popping over there, Bree. What you got?
I don't know if you read these.
Oh.
Can we oh, that's my brother. Can we confirm that that is the real Sabrina under that mask? Yes.
This is the real. Chamarita Rages, Holiday Rosemary. Yes. Good morning on you. Doris and Nicholas. Per Dela Cruz. What's up, Whisper?
Hi, Whisper. Happy belated birthday. Yeah.
Faith and Trust. Good morning, KUAM. Yeah, that is Sabrina in her brand new. I got to put shades on to look at you, girl. It's shining bright in that white hoodie.
Yes, this is my new hoodie from my dear friend at Norman Analista.
Is that a mosquito?
No, it's a dragonfly.
Oh, it's a dragonfly. Got it.
Here. There's a bigger one on my back, but yeah.
It's dragonfly season.
Right, it's a dragonfly.
Right on. And I'm rocking my new blouse from my friend at Old Navy. Hey, welcome to the show, guys. It's a beautiful day in Hutman. How's it in your neck of the jungle? 623, it's brought to you by East West Rental. Thank you, East West Rental. Calvo Enterprises, IT&E, Carrier at 647 Cool. And Jack in the Box. Our friends at Jack in the Box. Triple bonus Jack. I know a lot of people are meeting out because they were, in Lent mode. Well, it is back. It's the Triple Bonus Jack, a returning favorite. Jack's Triple Bonus Jack combo is everything you need to indulge. Add a patty and make it a quad for $1 more. Here's what we got coming on the show this morning. Bree, April is Child Abuse and...
Family Violence, Sexual Assault Awareness Month,
right.
Youth Month. There's a lot.
It's a lot of months.
Yeah.
So we're getting Cynthia Cabot, who's the executive director of the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence, and Daniel Summerfleck, who's the Guam Legal Services Corporation Disability Law Center executive director. Also, guys, it's Thursday. What are your plans for lunch and dinner? I got you. GCC Culinary Academy, they continue their international buffet series. As today, it is China. And so we're getting Chef Paul and a bunch of the students in to tell us about how you can get those meals. They're just $10 each, and they're available at the GCC Multipurpose Center for lunch and for dinner. It's been a great run with these guys. Bree, I'm looking forward to see their rendition of Chinese takeout. I hope they have fun with this. And we'll talk about the menu and the concept behind Chinese takeout. We'll also catch up with our friend, the principal of Harvest Christian Academy High School. As, senior year, guys, in case you might have forgot. I know the seniors haven't forgotten. But they do have a bunch of seniors there that have gone off to some pretty prominent schools. So we'll kind of catch up. It's interesting. That's a conversation we definitely didn't have last year because of the pandemic. Also, we'll catch up with Chief Steve Ignacio of the Guam Police Department. Coming on the show, just a whole bunch of stuff we got to ask him about. And then as part of National Public Health Week, we'll catch up with the Acting Senior Citizens Division Administrator, Charlene St. Nicholas, and find out more about the programs for seniors, maybe even a little more info on the senior centers. That's all coming up here on the link. Good morning. It's 6:25. Let's go ahead and go into the news now with the very latest from the KUAM News team, Sabrina Salas Matanani. Good morning, Sabrina.
Off a day, everybody. The Guam Fire Department responded to a wooden tin structure fire just before midnight last night along Jose A. Canata Street in Pneumatic. GFD reports that the report to 911 was that it was a structure fire where murdered former Mayor Daniel Sanchez's body was found over the weekend. The Guam Police Department, however, has not responded to our inquiries regarding the information. Arrested and charged for the former mayor's murder were repeat offenders 59-year-old Rudy Canata and 32-year-old joiner Scott Sked. A magistrate's complaint charged the duo with murder as a first-degree felony and aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. The charges against Sked include a special allegation for use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. The two appeared before Their magistrate's hearing, which was on Monday, Judge Jonathan Kwan set the cash bail at $100,000 for Sked and $50,000 for Kanata. Kanata and Sked's next court appearance is April 15th. Opening arguments were delivered Monday morning in the trial of Vianney Jose. He is charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct for his role in allegedly sexually assaulting a teenage girl. Adriana Cotero reports from Judge Elise Iriarty's courtroom.
In November 2018, a 16-year-old female was allegedly sexually assaulted by three 18-year-old men at a barbecue in Manilao. Drinking was involved and the alleged assault was videotaped. A month after the incident, the videotape went viral. Detectives were tipped off and they found the video circulating social media. Vianney Jose is one of the three men seen in the video and accused of raping the victim. Assistant Attorney General Christine Tenorio.
The last thing she remembers is popping a squat to pee in the bush in the yard of the house. That is all she remembers. She does not remember having sex with anybody that night. But you know who does remember, the evidence will show, is each of the boys. Mr. Jose, Mr. Borja, Mr. Pielet, they actually remember. They remember what happened, and also they made a video to keep it.
In addition to the victim testifying, AAG Tenorio plans to bring forward co-defendants Burton Borja, Dwayne Pielet, and Jolene Rankin, all of which have since pled guilty.
This is not a case about a bunch of kids having fun. This is a case about a 16-year-old girl being violated by three different adult males at the same time. That is against the law.
Alternate public defender Peter Santos contends the sex was consensual and the victim was not helpless, and it occurred at a graduation party for the young men.
A lot of cases you don't get to see direct evidence. Fortunately, in this case, you can see the video, right? Unfortunately, it's graphic in nature. But what you'll see in the video, she was not asleep. And as a matter of fact, you'll see in the video, and it'll be pointed out, that she's actively participating in the activity.
Santos says his client was also unaware of a video being recorded, and for this reason, Jose does not face any child pornography charges.
What you have here, what the video will show, and what the witnesses will tell you happened was there was a graduation party. People were having fun. People who were over the age of consent.
The government's case in chief started with testimony from Detective Mary Jane Reval, who was able to identify the individuals in the video. Portions of the trial involving playbacks of the video are sealed from the public. Although during cross-examination, Reval testified the victim was not asleep, and her hands touched one of the man's genitals.
With respect to her age being 16 and them being 18, is that a crime? If it was consensual sex?
No. I'm sorry, Judge. It's okay if you clarify the question.
Yeah. Okay. So it wouldn't have been a crime?
No.
All right.
If it was consensual.
When Reval identified the men, they were all off island. It was stated that Jose was enlisted. An arrest warrant was issued for the return, and he was immediately taken into custody at the airport. The second government witness, Jolene Rankin, who was responsible for sending out the sexually explicit video, also testified this afternoon. Trial continues tomorrow at 1:30 p.m.
Hawaii media reports that a teenage boy born in Guam but living in Oahu was shot dead by Honolulu police at the end of a police chase. He was identified as 16-year-old Iramamber Sikap. A total of 6 people were in that car. A 14-year-old boy is in serious condition. According to KITV, they quoted family members that he had made some bad choices in his young life. He was shot multiple times like he was a criminal. He was the baby of the family. The Guam Supreme Court heard arguments on Wednesday on Guam Music Inc.'s appeal of a Superior Court ruling last year that the rules and regulations for gaming machines were not legally adopted. Attorney Randy Cunliffe argued that regardless of whether they were or not, the 300 or so Liberty machines operated by Guam Music were already valid under existing statute. Assistant Attorney General Marianne Wollashuk said DRT exceeded its authority in promulgating the rules and regs. Supreme Court justices have taken the matter under advisement. The hearing was just the latest in the legal battle over Liberty machines, which goes back many years. The legislature has passed laws outlawing such gambling, but also passed a grandfather clause to allow existing machines at the time to continue to operate. And with more news, here is Peter Santos.
Confident good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Santos with your headlines here on The Link. The legislature has submitted its legal brief in a far-reaching case now before the Guam Supreme Court, a case meant to clarify the governor's power to order quarantine during a public health emergency. Nestor Lecanto has more.
The High Court sought the legislature's input on what it considers a fundamental separation of powers question, and senators earlier this month approved by unanimous consent a resolution by Speaker Therese Terlahi to submit a formal brief as an interested party in the case. The governor is challenging the constitutionality of certain provisions of the 2003 Islan Guahan Emergency Health Powers Act. This after Superior Court Judge Elise Iriarte ruled in favor of travelers who petitioned the court for their release.
These two statutes in particular give individuals access to the courts if they wanted to appeal their quarantine, and so that these would be protections for those who were being quarantined and thought that it should be reviewed by someone else.
The legislature further contends that Congress granted it concurrent authority with the governor over public health services and quarantine policy. This as evidenced by the use of the term subject to the laws of Guam.
We stand firm that these are within the powers of the legislature, and as is the power to make laws regarding healthcare in general.
The Speaker recalls that the Emergency Health Powers Act was introduced by former Governor Eddie Calvo, then a senator, during a measles outbreak. It was eventually signed into law by former Governor Carl Gutierrez, now a senior advisor to Governor Leon Guerrero.
It was debated at the time, and they pointed out exactly what we are discussing today, that there are, potentials for abuse of power.
Ironically, Governor Leon Guerrero was one of the supporters of the bill. In her brief, Legislative Counsel Anna Wanpat Borja quotes the legislative record in which then Senator Leon Guerrero said, quote, "The bill, I think, protects the individuals who are isolated or quarantined and feel that their rights have been violated. Because sometimes in emergency situations, panic can occur, and you may come into situations where you may just be isolating and quarantining people, maybe unnecessarily." For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
A jury found Phillips James Sablan guilty of second-degree criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony for sexually abusing an 8-year-old child. According to KUM News Files, the incident occurred in April 2020 and was reported the following month. Prosecuting attorney Sean Brown said, quote, "Predators sometimes target children with the idea that they won't talk, or if they do, no one will listen or believe them. Here, the young victim was brave enough to tell her family what happened, and even braver to tell the jury and a room full of strangers what happened to her. We thank the victim and her family for their bravery and participation. We'd also like to thank the jury for really listening to her, not just her words, but also how she testified," end quote. Sablan is facing 5 to 20 years imprisonment and will be sentenced on July 9th. A bill to clarify the 10% hazardous pay law upon exposure law for customs personnel was discussed Wednesday at the legislature. While the law has been on the books for about 5 years, Chief of Customs Vincent Perez says the hazard differential has never been paid out. He says there's been a continuous back and forth with the administration department with still no clarity over who and when should get paid. He urged senators to resolve the issue, especially now that the pandemic has hit.
Officers were exposed and continue to be exposed. Customs was responsible for identifying, isolating, and interviewing these passengers, as well as coordinating with the public health for more in-depth screening and quarantine action. And we've also had officers and continue to have officers assigned to the quarantine facilities today. And still, no hazardous duty differential has been paid out.
He also read the emotional testimony from the widow of Customs Officer Renny Tumanda, who passed away from COVID last September. Speaker Terlahi said the current law is, quote, crystal clear, and DOA needs to explain in writing exactly what the holdup is. That's the news for now. We'll see you all at 6 tonight on Primetime.
Thanks, Peter. The Guam Department of Education is making the grade. Its FY 2020 audit marks GDOE's 8th consecutive year with an unmodified clean audit opinion on its financial statements and compliance over major federal program requirements, demonstrating the department's sustained commitment to fiscal responsibility and improved audit performance. GDOE has worked hard over the past decade to sustain operational improvements and strong internal controls as it works toward relief of its specific conditions and high-risk designation. Stranded on Guam for over a year, beginning next month, repatriation flights for FSM citizens will begin, but only on a limited basis. Here's more.
The initial flight is scheduled for May 13th, but only for 40 citizens, and its destination is to Pohnpei. FSM Consul General Teresa Philippin.
The state of Pohnpei is the most up to standard with their quarantine facility right now. They've been working really hard over the past year, equipping the facilities and trying to get the healthcare professionals trained enough to be able to handle this measure.
The first flight is priority for medical patients and their attendants, students, and for high-level diplomats from the FSM government. According to the FSM President's office, the repatriation was made possible through a diplomatic note sent to the U.S. government requesting a humanitarian assistance flight from Guam to the FSM. It was limited to 40 because of the quarantine capacity in Pohnpei. Repatriation was initially scheduled last December, but due to the lack of sufficient medical personnel and lack of ventilator training, it was postponed. According to the FSM's President's office, physicians from the CDC, U.S. Health and Human Services, and the Department of Defense will be deployed to help build medical capacity and provide assistance during the initial repatriation efforts. For those on the first flight, several requirements must be met before and after they land in Pohnpei.
We're going to have to quarantine them pre-departure, and of course they're going to they're required to be to have their full vaccination shots and get tested while in quarantine.
According to Philippine, an estimated 350 FSM citizens are stranded here. The nation closed its borders because of the pandemic and has maintained a COVID-free status, and they want to keep it that way.
The FSM, wants to keep this airtight and make sure that everything, that there's no possibility of the virus getting into the country. So quarantine, pre-departure quarantine.
President Biden calling on all states to make all adults eligible for COVID-19 vaccines by April 19th if they haven't already done so. But even as daily vaccination rates have soared in recent months, new daily cases have started to tick up. Federal health officials say the nation is still at risk of another surge. Natalie Brand reports.
In less than 2 weeks, President Biden wants all states to make all adults eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine if they haven't already done so. And while getting a vaccine appointment is still a concern in some places, federal health officials stress that is changing.
There was a gap between supply and demand, and literally every day that goes by, if that gap is closing.
The updated vaccine timeline comes as many states have lifted COVID restrictions and daily new cases have started to climb.
This fight isn't over.
In Michigan, which leads the nation in new cases, Governor Gretchen Whitmer got her shot Tuesday. The CDC found the B.1.1.7 variant that originated in the UK accounted for nearly 40% of Michigan's cases last month.
The B.1.1.7 variant is now the most common lineage circulating in the United States.
The Biden administration says it does not plan to mandate a vaccine passport system, but federal health officials say they expect businesses and universities to take action on their own.
They're going to say, we're not going to have you come in unless you get vaccinated. You're not going to see that from a federal government mandate.
At least 8 colleges have already said they'll require vaccinations for students returning to campus this fall. In K through 12 schools, the CDC estimates nearly 80% of teachers and school staff have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Evening, the Joint Information Center reported that out of 568 test samples taken on April 6th, 3 tested positive for COVID-19. Of the new cases, 1 was identified through contact tracing. This brings the total of officially reported cases of COVID-19 to 7,828 since March of last year. 30 cases are active. There have been more than 7,600 recoveries. There have been 136 COVID-related deaths. The CAR score remains at 0.2. Also, the Department of Public Health issued a guidance memo to update an item indicated under authorized businesses and services during PCOR 3 in the current executive order relative to organized sports and non-contact training, provided 6 feet distance is maintained, including while in an enclosed space and if held outdoors. The number of participants is limited to no more than 50 persons who are allowed only 1 guest per player. And that is your news. For more, stay tuned to the link.
When you want to make the most...
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentation, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Bud Light Seltzer, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time each Friday to talk food, taste food, and bring you all the latest and greatest in food from King's Restaurants and Ruby Tuesday Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything on the menu in between. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link.
When we throw things away, where is away? What happens to our waste, and where does it go? As a community of small islands, the waste crisis is a large issue we want to bring into focus. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance presents From Our Nanas for Our Nennies, a video series about taking a holistic view of our present, finding wisdom from our past, and inspiring a better future. Airing every week during Earth Month, brought to you by Humanities Guahan and the National Endowment for the Humanities.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Only one company on Guam provides every solar energy solution under one roof. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You want solar only? They got that. You want solar with batteries? They got that too. You want outright purchase or lease purchase? It's up to you. Does your solar system need a tune-up? That's what they do. For solar energy solutions from A to Z, you can count on MRE. Give them a call at 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, providing real solar solutions built by real solar experts.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by the Bank of Guam and KFC.
Uno Go, delivering meals from your favorite restaurants and more, including delivering sodas and adult beverages from the Bottle Shack. Visit uno-go.com or download the app today. Also follow them on Instagram and Facebook.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KUAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KUAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
It's Dirty Politics Weekly on the Link, live on location. Every week, Chris and Sabrina will interview different political leaders out in the field to address environmental problems in our community. See firsthand how illegal dumps, littering, and other issues are plaguing our beautiful island and what's being done to help. Part of our Sustainability Matters campaign for Earth Month, in partnership with the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability and Guam Green Growth. Presented by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Reduce before you produce. GESI.
This year, the Think Green Annual Cleanup goes virtual. Organize your community cleanup, post and tag with hashtag ThinkGreenGuam on social media. And we'll share your cleanup in our multimedia platforms and in a special montage on KUAM News Weekend Edition during the last weekend in April. Sustainability matters, part of the KUAM Care Force's commitment to our community. In partnership with the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability and Guam Green Growth. Presented by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Reduce before you produce. GESI. Special thanks to Micronesian Brokers, Inc.
Hey, good morning. My name is Chris. Welcome back to The Link. Remember, we jump on KUAM TV at 8 o'clock, where we'll do our in-depth newscast, and also we'll get the chief of the Guam Police Department, Chief Steve Ignacio, on the show. Good morning. In 2020, there were 190 cases of sexual assault reported. These statistics include an increase in child abuse by close to 5%, with approximately 1,000 cases referred to CPS, Child Protective Services. The number of minors reported as sexually assaulted in Guam has risen from 69% in 2018 to 71% in 2019 and 75% in 2020. 63% of sexual assaults are not reported to the Guam Police Department. And in the U.S., nearly 1 in 5 women and 1 in 67 men have been raped at some time in their lives. 1 in 6 boys, 1 in 4 girls sexually assaulted before the age of 18. We see it all too often in the news. It seems like every day we hear a story about sexual assault. This newscast we just played, I think there were 3 stories about sexual assault. And I just wanted to read out these stats before we bring on our next set of guests here. As April, it's a few different months. They usually declare these months will have themes, but for April, it's Sexual Assault Awareness Month, Child Abuse Prevention Month, Youth Month, and National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Okay, and so we're bringing on Cynthia Cabot from the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence, and she is joining us with Daniel Summerfleck, who is the Guam Legal Services Corporation Disability Law Center Executive Director. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Chris.
morning.
Morning, Daniel. Morning, Cynthia. Not really looking forward to this interview, to be honest. But I mean, we got to get this this info out here, and I just don't know what to say, really, Cynthia. I mean, we've been talking for a few years now, and these statistics continue to climb. The gruesomeness that we hear with these stories that come out, whether it's from the magistrates or reported by the media, of sexual assault of, both adults and children, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. Really, as a father of 5 kids, my worst fear is something happening, and I'm sure every parent has that same fear. Of something happening to their kids, but it's happening to a lot of kids out there. And you guys are right on the front lines of this, Cynthia.
Well, certainly the Guam Coalition is here to support key agencies such as Guam Legal Services, and that's why Dan's here also to join me. And yes, I do certainly agree with you, Chris, that this is not exactly the exciting topic to talk about first thing in the morning. It is not a very happy kind of topic to talk about. But I think if you take it in bite-sized pieces and take it one kid at a time, it becomes an important issue that we all rally around. And so that is certainly our goal for this month, is to raise awareness, to engage our community, to support our victims, build the trust, and be able to make some impact there. And Chris, I know it seems alarming with the increase in cases, but I'd like to think that people are more aware of the situation, that there is also a greater or an increase in reporting, and that's what we're seeing, which is what we want to see more so than those cases that go unreported. Because when you report the case, then then that we surround the individual, the victim, with support services that's needed.
Daniel?
Well, I think one of the things that, since we talked a little bit about statistics, that I'd like to try and put forward is kind of an alarming statistic that I came up with just in the last year or so. 38% of the sexual assaults are committed by intimate partners. And at first, when you look at that number, you're thinking, well, what does that mean? The reality is it means that 38% of the sexual assaults are committed by someone that someone's already been intimate with. And it's non-consensual. And really, this past 5 years has caused, at least for myself, and I believe a lot of males, a question about what is appropriate behavior, what is not appropriate behavior. I mean, very honestly, I'm very pleased that I'm married so that I'm not out in the dating world, because I don't know that I'd know the rules out there anymore. But it seems fairly clear that a clear line can be drawn and a clear rule can be put out, and that is no means no. And I think for most people, it's like, well, duh, how hard is that to figure out? Well, for 38%, I guess it is hard to figure out that no means no. And using that simple thought process needs to be a guidance for everyone out there. Once that word is put out, everything that follows behind it is a sexual assault. And by law, that's where we're getting these cases that are coming up to the court systems of, well, was it consensual? Was it not consensual? You went to his room, but what did you think was going to happen? Well, I think the question needs to be asked, did you say no? And if the answer to that question is yes, then everything that occurred after that is non-consensual and a sexual assault. And having grown up as a child of the 60s, times have changed drastically. Our social mores have changed drastically. There was a senator from Minnesota that, resigned his seat for doing inappropriate come in Tokyo on someone asleep. To me, that's what society has become. It's not a bad thing that it's become that, but it also brings forward a reality that simple respect toward one another is the line of thought. And as soon as we leave behind that respect, as soon as we move into an inappropriate touching or inappropriate sexual action, there's no respect there. And that I think is a guideline that I would put forward, and I've put forward to both of my boys, because even when they turn adults, they're still your children. You still worry about them. You still are concerned about them. In fact, I kind of thought, this is great. When my kids turn 18, I'm done. Well, then when they finish college, okay, I'm done. Well, then it just never ends. I mean, and I'm not saying that as a negative thing. It's just that reality as a parent. How do you stop worrying about your child? And I don't think it ever ends. Whether they're little children and you're worried about someone grabbing them at a bus stop, or whether they're 32-year-old adults and you're worried about someone harming them outside on the street. I don't think that role as parent and that role of concern ever ends. But I don't want to digress, because my main point is to say, simply show respect. As long as you're showing respect, you don't need to worry about breaking the law. You don't need to worry about being bad or evil, because you're showing respect. You're showing that common decency that we all were raised to present. But somewhere along the line, some individuals lost that. I can't imagine, there was a recent case of a gentleman who got double counts, 15 years consecutive, who grabbed a woman he didn't know, dragged her into the woods, raped her twice. In what world should that kind of behavior happen? Where is there any sense of respect? And the one thing in my more than 30 years here on Guam that I've liked most about Guam is that concept of respect. That concept that, we try and show respect. Obviously, some people fail, but I think it's very straightforward, and it comes back to our roots.
Daniel, I think you obviously raised some great points there, but baseline, right? It's about respect. It's about no means no. So I think if you keep it simple as a man or as any adult navigating this world, no matter what the circumstances are, if the person came up to your room or went into your house or whatever, at any point, if no is said, it just means no, and that's the end of it. Pretty simple.
It is, and it's simple coming out as we're chit-chatting here, but for some reason, it's not so simple in real life. And I think the more that we get a mindset of respect and understanding that once that no word comes out, everything that happens thereafter can be called criminal and could be called and will be called a rape.
Cynthia, I wanted to go back to the child sexual assault, because there's a case that Sabrina and I had talked about here on the link a little while ago, and this was a case of a man who allegedly molested a teen known to him since she was 6 or 7 years old. And this teen was blind with special needs. She reported the assault in a school setting. And it's just, we talk about how horrifying these cases are, and when you think you've heard it all, another one comes along and just shatters your world.
Well, for a period of my career, I worked with Child Protective Services. And the hard, cruel reality is there are people out there that have no concern, have no social value, and do heinous acts toward children. And is it right? Absolutely not. The hardest thing I believe about the pandemic has been twofold. One, we had a lack or a failure on Child Protective Services. And two, kids weren't in school. Where do most children feel most comfortable talking about sexual assault, talking about those events? To their peers. What do those peers then do? They then go tell an adult, or the individual, the victim themselves, tells an adult. without the schools in session, without that social interaction, without that, for lack of a better word, third eye, a lot of these children who are being victimized have no release system for them. And if the parent is the perpetrator or a member of the family, homeschool. We'll do the take-home package. That way no one sees our child. We always were able to identify some of the worst cases of abuse and neglect inside of the school system. Kids go to school, teachers observe, teachers see changes, other kids talk to other kids.
Right.
For the past year, we haven't had that.
Yeah, Daniel.
Not to the level we've had in the past.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, that being said, we didn't have that in place, the school setting. But what we did have was people who knew that and still referred cases to Child Protective Services, referring cases to the tune of 1,000 complaints filed at CPS, a massive failure of the system, and I don't think anyone has really been held accountable for that. They have a new director over at CPS who's doing double duty with DYA and CPS, but I gotta say, you're right, the school setting is where we do get most of these sexual assault complaints and where school officials find out about them. But with that not in place, people did what they were supposed to do, which was report the stuff to Child Protective Services. And 1,000 complaints. We're not talking about one complaint, 10 complaints, which would already be egregious enough. We're talking about 1,000 complaints. So the systemic failure of CPS during this pandemic, it's just really atrocious. And you're right? The school system's not there. So we, the people, did what we're supposed to do, which is to go to the institutions that are supposed to protect these kids. Well, nothing happened up to now, and they're whittling their way down these 1,000 complaints. So I just don't know what to say about that. I mean, we've had Melanie on, and I mean, she's inherited a situation that was almost unmanageable and is somehow managing it. But again, 1,000 complaints in this pandemic, that's mind-boggling, Cynthia.
Yes, absolutely, Chris. And one of the things too that I also understand is that this pandemic has done weird things to everyone. And so, how do we move out of that? I think what Melanie has done is a great job in being able to handle the cases. And from what I understand, those were the backlog in cases. There are many factors that contribute to that. No one's working, or at least we're all working remotely. And in order to be able to facilitate the care for kids, many of our agencies themselves were working remotely. And I think we needed to take that into consideration. But yes, for the sake of our children, we needed to be able to understand how we can support them and navigate through the system, especially being able to access the services that they needed. My understanding is that we are at a better place than where we were weeks ago with this situation. So yes, it became a systemic failure, as you call it, in that regard. But I'd like to think that once we put attention to it, we are actually being able to address it. But bottom line, Chris, that those cases have to happen, just as what Dan was trying to explain. It's about the values that we come up with. And, when we look at caring for our children, caring for our community, caring for our family, the aim is to end the violence, and in understanding that at the core, it is about power and control. So when we take those factors into consideration, we look at the extent of work that our partners do in being able to support government agencies, for example, and with all of our partners being able to advocate for safety, for the support services to ensure that our homes are safe, violence-free, and healthy in that regard. Which is why we're here, to talk about the things that we are trying to do. And yes, Chris, we saw you a couple of months back, and we'll keep coming back again to be able to rally around the importance of engaging our community. Because right now, if you see something, tell someone about it. Because as Dan was trying to say, this whole past year, we were stuck, we thought safer at home. But in reality, can you imagine if we were back in schools? Can you imagine if we were not working remotely? Will those 1,000 cases just be 1,000 cases? So here we are today, right?
And if I could just add in one thought to you, Chris. While it was, and I don't argue at all, it was a failure. The one thing that you put forward is the community didn't fail. People still were making those calls to CPS trying to protect children. And that's really what a lot of things depend upon. If you see something wrong, report it. Don't ignore it. If a family member is mistreating their children, report it. So yes, there was a failure there, but also there was a success there because the community kept seeking to try and help those children. One of the things that this effort is all about is raising awareness, like doing talk shows like this, like putting forward, like doing outreaches. We have a WAVE scheduled for the 14th. We have a mall outreach scheduled for the 18th. To try and raise awareness, to try and come to a line in our community that everyone starts to at least comprehend that no means no. To at least move ourselves another step forward. Do I think that by doing a mall outreach or a WAVE, we're going to eliminate all sexual assault and family violence? No. But if we eliminate 1 or 2 cases, we've succeeded. That means 1 or 2 people didn't have to go through this kind of trauma. So, we're going to continue to be out in the community, whether it's April, which is month of everything, including autism awareness.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's like, did we pack April up with every single show?
I think they're moving stuff because it's PCOR 3 now. They're like, let's move everything to April.
Well, I mean, we have a blue light outside our office, our night light.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, is this for sexual assault? Is this for autism? It covers both, so we're safe.
It's all the above, right? Cynthia and Dan, let's start kind of at the beginning. When you talk about the community, right? What are some of the signs? And I know they receive the training in the school setting, right? With the counselors, teachers, and a lot of it comes from that peer-to-peer communication where like you said, one kid tells another and then they tell an adult. What about in like the neighborhood setting, the village setting? How can you tell? What are some of the signs that something may be going on in a household?
One of the biggest drawbacks of our society now is there isn't that much community. Maybe in southern villages, there's still that strong sense of community. Maybe at certain pockets, there's a strong sense of community. But I don't know that most people could say the names of the neighbors on all 3 sides of them. I don't know, I remember growing up as a child in Minnesota. The neighborhood all got together every morning to see whose car had started, to see who could jump everyone else's car who didn't start. I don't see so much of that here. But as far as the community is concerned, I look more toward the familia. A lot of these reports that are coming in through family members, seeing something that's inappropriate and reporting it. Obviously, in the tighter villages, in the more community-oriented villages, that's more identifiable, and community is a strong support network. But I think, just looking at how families and communities have transitioned over the last 20 to 30 years, I'm not sure that there's that tight of a community in a number of communities anymore. And a lot of families are pretty much isolated. And inside of some of the thought process of the abuser is, the more I isolate, the more control I have. The more my spouse doesn't meet up with her family members, the more she doesn't hang out with her friends, the safer I am in mistreating her, because I've now isolated her from anyone she can safely talk to about it. And that is part of this cycle of abuse in the cycle of control, is isolation. As soon as you've isolated out your victim, who are they going to talk to? Who are they safe to report to if you've already isolated them out? And it is a strategy used. I mean, unfortunately, they've studied these victims and perpetrators enough that there are patterns. You know, for child sexual abusers, oftentimes there's an entire pattern of grooming that goes on. You know, here's a little gift. Oh, here's a little bit bigger gift. Oh, here's a little bit bigger gift. Okay, why don't you come over to my house and watch a video? And it seems to be a spiraling pattern that you see in numerous cases of child sexual abuse. And I think that's part of being alert, you know, is why are you hanging out with a 30-year-old man? Why are you going over to someone's house in the middle of the afternoon who's 25 years old and you're 12? I think a lot of it depends upon active parenting as well. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form pointing any finger at a parent. But I think being alert to what's going on with your child is a key aspect.
Right, and sometimes that's hard to do in a household where you have both parents working, long hours, kids staying home in this case. It used to be they'd be at school. Cynthia?
But I think what we need to go back to, it takes a village, right, to raise a child. And one of the silver linings that this pandemic has raised is speaking to Malia Ramirez at the Department of Parks and Recreation. She was saying from her vantage point and watching what goes on at Paseo, she's seeing more families now taking time to go around, and enjoying the simple things. And I think that's something like you shared. Parents are busy working, kids are in school, but I think what this has done too is bring people together in one respect. So I'm hoping to see that in as much as we're also seeing the atrocious signs of the abuse that's happening, that there are changes being made and that families are really coming together. As Dan was saying, there are ways that we need to rebuild our communities. It's not an idea that's so lost, but I think where we can begin to help our communities thrive, and there are many programs and projects that are going on in the community. So that's where I continue to rally and say there are activities going on in every village. We are engaging with the mayors as well, with the different agencies in our communities to ensure that not only can we build safe online spaces, we can support thriving children and families and look at perhaps prevention with a purpose, looking at how we can project more of a safe, healthy, and violence-free community.
Right. When you talk about mindsets, Cynthia, I kind of wanted to touch on this because it's something we talked about a couple days ago. But we're living in such a sexualized society here in 2021. I mean, I'm by no means a prude, obviously, but just what kids are exposed to, and I sometimes have the hardest time kids twerking because they see it on whatever music video,
TikTok,
whole songs about WAP, I mean, and I really try and shield the kids from this stuff, but it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. And you get adults, they think it's cute when they see the little girls twerking, or they think it's cute when they do the little dance routine from the, scantily clad. I mean, the same thing, girls and boys, right? So as a parent, how do you navigate this world where you find that other adults are, in some cases, eager to sexualize young children? I mean, to me, it's just mind-boggling how a lot of people just don't get it, that, if you're teaching your little girl to twerk or drop or do the splits or, idolize people who run around in lingerie, that it's harmful. I feel it's harmful. So how do we kind of go around that and address those kind of issues that in a society where it's just widely accepted and almost even mainstream?
I certainly agree with you. And I think oftentimes we're even so desensitized, often, we hear about all the bad things going on in the news. You turn on your computer, you see it, all the news feed you get, you go out the door and you can see it oftentimes, right? So we become numb to it sometimes. So, which is why I think it's important to show or to demonstrate that we can have communities that will promote the positive aspects to better engage and demonstrate that, yes, you know what the bad things are, but this is what a healthy relationship looks like. And I think too often we do not go there. We talk about the bad, all of our statistics. Yes, that is the case. But if we also consider too that it is important to make that call, to make that report, but more importantly, to seek the services. And then more importantly, that we do have our agencies being able to support the services when one needs it.
Right. Yeah, we had a
So
comment.
It's a whole new thing.
Dan, and this is a comment to kind of what we were talking about. Knowing schools were closed during the pandemic and also knowing that the majority of reports are through the school system, the division, CPS, should have been on high alert. Can't agree more with this statement. Can't agree more.
But I think one of the points, Chris, that needs to be made is parents need to continue to be parents. Knock wood, I have only boys. I would have probably gone crazy with a daughter just on what is appropriate clothing to wear. Does my wife wander around outside anywhere in lingerie and dance around like that? Of course not. So part of it becomes, what are we doing as parents? Is that acceptable behavior? Is that the way we behave in this house? Is that the way your grandmother would want to see you? That still requires parenting. And yes, there are a lot of negative messages out there. There are a lot of kids wanting to be a twerker or a negligee dancer or whatever it is. But that doesn't mean as a parent, you say, my dream for you is to be a negligee dancer, twerking on the internet. No, that's not my dream for you at all.
That's my personal nightmare.
It's the last thing I want. You want to know what I have nightmares about at night? That's it.
Dan, I got my youngest baby girl. I mean, her brothers they'll report to me like, oh, yeah, Callie wore a 2-piece. You know what I mean? So, and you're right, because my oldest girl, she was scared to wear skirts around me, and she would wear leggings under the skirt because I was just always so worried about them going out and just stupid men. There's just so many stupid men in this world. You know what I mean? So,
well, but it also is, as a parent, making sure that your child dresses respectably.
Yeah, of course.
And as soon as we abdicate that, as soon as we don't make comment, as soon as we turn a blind eye to it, we're passively agreeing with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the role of active parenting. Your daughter wouldn't wear a skirt in front of you because she was afraid it wouldn't meet your standards unless she had leggings on. Clearly, the message in your house was, you're not showing your thighs.
Cover your treasure. That's the thing I've been saying for years. Cynthia, again, I want to bring you guys on throughout the month to just talk about different things. But we started talking about people reaching out, the programs that are in place. So where do they reach out? Anybody listening here, where do they reach out to report, to find out more, to maybe even have that conversation about what's appropriate, what's not?
Well, what we are certainly trying to do is engage our community, and that is to be a community champion, know what services are out there and you're asking, well, who to call? There are many agencies you can call, and depending on the situation and services that's needed. And again, for children, yes, CPS is the one to call, right? Or if it is certainly an emergency, there's 911, the police. But oftentimes we hesitate to make that call. So you can be that individual with information to support them through. Some agency partners that we have is also Vero. 477-5552 is the number that I always give. And they can provide that initial support. Guam Legal Services, for example, with Daniel Summerfleck and his advocates, can help one navigate through the criminal justice system. Unfortunately, if it needs to go to that extent with protective orders, and he can talk about that in a separate session. And we also have then shelter for those who may need shelter. But I think more importantly, it's just being able to understand that there are people who care and to talk about it, to report it as needed, and we'll be able to hopefully wrap the services that's needed for you in that light.
Daniel, closing
And
thoughts?
just to add, Chris,
Yeah.
you know, anyone who's a victim and needs help, call our office, 477-9811. We do protective orders, we do restraining orders, but we also, if there's not a case that we can file, provide safety planning and counseling and advice to anyone who calls us. So if someone's a victim, 477-9811. If someone wants to find out more about the effort, I would strongly suggest either calling the coalition or Vero. You know, but for victims, call our office.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Donna. I want to get you guys back on next week to talk more about these issues. Obviously, once you open this can, there's just so many ways it could go. There's a lot of comments in here. I don't know if they were coming for me, but Amy says, it doesn't matter what you wear. Ryan says, teach your boys to respect women. Of course we do. You shouldn't hold girls at a different standard. But I just think in this case, and again, I was talking about my 6-year-old daughter, I think that, again, and Cynthia agrees, that we live in this society where it's so sexualized that it's trickling down to the kids, and the kids see what adults do, and kids have emulated adult behavior since the beginning of time. So I'm not trying to hold girls to a different standard. I'm just saying that girls and women are out here getting raped at a young age. And so I just feel like, they shouldn't be sexualized at a young age. That's it. You know.
But Chris, I just want to point out it's also boys.
Yeah, boys.
Boys are victims just as well.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And and I agree with that individual where it shouldn't matter what you wear.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately that the environment that you walk out into looks at that from a different viewpoint.
Right, definitely. Okay, Daniel, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris, for having us on.
It's been a great conversation.
Anytime you want,
Yeah.
I'll make myself available, particularly at 6:45 in the morning.
That's how we know you take it serious. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Daniel.
Have a great day.
Okay, bye. Oh, man. Good talk. Obviously, Cynthia has just been on the front line for years. Daniel, these guys are great. They're doing the work that needs to be done. And also, we've had Melanie Brennan on because we did talk about that CPS issue. And she has really hit the ground running at CPS and done her part to whittle down on those 1,000 complaints. So maybe we should get her back on maybe next week, a little catch up. It's 7:24. We're going to take a break and we're back with more of The Link next. And we're going to go to GCC where the culinary students are cooking up Chinese takeout for your lunch and dinner. And we'll tell you how to get it and what's going to be on that menu and a little more about just the experience these kids are getting with the Culinary Academy. All coming up next on The Link.
The relationship between
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Bud Light Seltzer, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time each Friday to talk food, taste food, and bring you all the latest and greatest in food from King's Restaurants and Ruby Tuesday Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything on the menu in between. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link.
When we throw things away, where is away? What happens to our waste, and where does it go? As a community of small islands, the waste crisis is a large issue we want to bring into focus. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance presents From Our Nanas for Our Nennies, a video series about taking a holistic view of our present, finding wisdom from our past, and inspiring a better future. Airing every week during Earth Month, brought to you by Humanities Guahan and the National Endowment for the Humanities.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Only one company on Guam provides every solar energy solution under one roof. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You want solar only? They got that. You want solar with batteries? They got that too. You want outright purchase or lease purchase? It's up to you. Does your solar system need a tune-up? That's what they do. For solar energy solutions from A to Z, you can count on MRE. Give them a call at 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, providing real solar solutions built by real solar experts.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by the Bank of Guam and KFC.
All right, welcome back to The Link, everybody. Thursday morning, and you know what that has meant for the last few weeks. We are going out to Manila to visit our friends at the Guam Community College, where the students of the GCC Culinary Academy are literally putting their chef hats on, getting completely ready, and they are making another amazing dish. They've basically taken us throughout most of the parts of Asia, and today they are undertaking a big challenge, but one that's certainly under the tutelage of Chef Paul Kerner, who is the main instructor there. They are going to make a absolutely amazing dinner. They are taking up Chinese cuisine today. So make sure to go and check out your friends at GCC, at the GCC Multipurpose Auditorium, because from 11 to 12:30, they will be serving a amazing lunch menu. And then from 4 to 5:30, they are also making dinner. So Chef Paul, good to see you as always. We really value the friendship and the insight that you give here, as well as the not just lessons in the culinary arts, but the life lessons and about work ethic and about craftsmanship and about being an artisan when it comes to food that you are giving to your young pupils. So good morning to you. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you too.
All right. And here in the Zoom room, I know we have a tag team going on right now. We have Jeffrey and Justin. Good morning, boys. All right, go ahead and unmute your mics, guys.
Good morning, sir. I just want to say good morning and half a day to all of you guys, and I hope you guys having a good sleep.
Oh yeah, and what time did you guys wake up and everything? Because I mean, you know, when you guys do these amazing meals on Thursdays. Oh, okay, Chef Paul saying you guys got up at 4. That's what time we get up to go do this show. So there's nobody else awake on Guam besides us on the Link, you guys at GCC's Culinary Academy, and the chickens. All right, very cool. We also have is it Rillen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hey, good morning. Good to see you, bro.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay, and
I'm glad to.
Yeah, I'll give you the honor of maybe breaking down the menu that you guys have waiting for us today. What will you guys be preparing for lunch?
So actually, we're doing dinner. It's actually Jeffrey and Justin who will be doing lunch.
Oh, okay, right on. Okay, so since we got you, what are you gonna make for dinner? We'll tease dinner.
So
and
dinner,
work backwards.
For dinner, we'll be making for our starches. It will be vegetable lo mein and vegetable fried rice. And for our proteins, it will be orange chicken and beef and broccoli. And we'll also add a side of fried egg rolls. And for our dessert, it will be rice pudding.
Oh man, rice pudding is good. Rice pudding is good no matter what. Yeah, so you guys are going very, very classic, very traditional.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so let's go real quick back to Jeffrey and Justin now. If you can unmute your mic, guys. What have you got for the lunch menu?
All we have for the menu is for the protein, we have a char siu pork, ginger chicken. For starch, we have vegetable fried rice. Then on the side, we have Chinese style coleslaw, stir-fried green beans. For dessert, Chinese almond cookies.
All right, very cool. Very, very nice. Can't wait to try those Chinese style almond cookies. I'm a big dessert guy and everything. And yeah, the desserts that you guys have made, I mean, the entire meals over the last month and a half that we've been working with you guys are absolutely amazing, but especially the desserts. I mean, your guys are amazing. We've also got Crystal right now. So Crystal, Hafidane, good morning. Good to see you.
Hi, Hafidi. Good morning.
Hi, and what's your scope of responsibility? What will you be working on as far as the menu or the meals that you guys are preparing today?
My partner and I, Rillen, are actually the ones in charge for the dinner services, so we're actually pretty excited for that to be running smoothly tonight.
Okay, so you and Rillen are working together. Is there anything particularly challenging about the style that you're making this? Because again, what the dinner menu, you've got orange chicken, beef and broccoli. These are things that are very, very familiar to us here on Guam because we love Chinese cuisine. Being so close to Asia, we're very familiar with it. So when you're preparing these meals, how do you capture those styles and textures and flavors that we're also accustomed to? And do you give it any of your own unique twist?
For us culinary students, I think one of the most challenging parts of creating any kind of cuisines will probably be matching the profile, the taste profile on what country that you're facing or trying to be basing on. But I think for us culinary students, we're able to also have a twist on what we think could be best for a modernized recipe. So we also want to match the local taste and the local flavor of what you guys would probably like in any Asian cuisines as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So good luck to you all. Let's go back to the man right now. So Chef Paul, when you're instructing proper preparation of Chinese cuisine to these very, very talented young people and everything like that, what lessons do you primarily like pass down to them as far as presentation and nutritional value, and and what these meals mean in the host country, and like how far back these ingredients in these meals go?
So there's a lot of history, like on the vegetable fried rice. We get into the history of that, and basically, there's nothing is wasted. So that's how the fried rice became of a dish, because they use all their leftovers and make a fried rice. Also, for their iconic dishes that go far back, the students I do put them to take ownership of creating a menu with their proteins, starches, and desserts. So that being said, is like we get the iconic dishes, but then they have to develop their interpretation with still the respect to the country as a contemporary dish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because of course, with the country of China, I mean, it's an ancient civilization. There's so much rich history to it. It's also very, very provincial. So you've got different styles of cooking, certainly. Chef.
That's correct.
Yeah,
correct.
When you're setting the menu. Oh, please, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There's so many different dishes in China. It can be very confusing. So that's why they picked the most popular dishes.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different cuisines in China.
Yeah.
And they're.
Yeah, how much input did the students have themselves to say, like, like, Chef, I grew up eating Chinese food. I've been to China, perhaps, I've always admired the culture. How much do you incorporate their feedback when you're actually setting the menu for these meals that you do every Thursday?
Oh, they're completely in charge of the menu, because I did Hawaii to demonstrate those dishes, because I'm very familiar with it. And then it's 100% on their own to develop this menu, because each group that you meet every week, this is their exam too, on top of that.
Mm. All right. So, okay. So young chefs, if you can just go ahead and unmute your mics, and we can just do like a round robin here. I'd like to hear from each of you. What was the most daunting of the various parts of the meals you're creating? Because I know I've tried to make rice pudding when I first made it. I burnt it, several times over before I got it right. Like, I struck out so many times. What was the most challenging for you guys?
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, personally, I think one of the most challenging parts when doing Chinese cuisines would probably be matching the orange chicken. There's many different taste profiles when you're trying to reach, certain local taste. If they want it sweet, if they want it a little bit salty. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's really about balance that really keeps it key to everything.
Yeah, I know I've had orange chicken so many times. It's one of my favorite Chinese dishes. But I know some people, they go like a little bit more orange than chicken, which can be cool. I mean, I like it. I dig it, right? But how do you actually balance that? Is it just trial and error over and over?
Yeah, so it really takes time with practice. But I really think that it's really based on two main ingredients that really have to balance out one another.
Okay, let's bring Rilin in real quick. Rilin, tell me about putting together those fried egg rolls. I know those. It's a very delicate entree to make. So how do you get it perfect and be able to make it at the scale you're going to? Because are you guys still doing 150 box lunches today?
Actually, we'll be doing 200.
All right. See, that's what it is, guys. GCC goes big. They want to feed the island. So 200 box lunches today. Outstanding.
That's our goal, sir.
Yeah. So how do you get it? Is it one fried egg roll per box lunch? And even if it is, yes. I mean, how do you get 200 perfect?
Oof. Well, luckily, thanks to our chef, we were able to get enough fried egg rolls, and with inside it's julienne cabbages, julienne carrots, Julian, what else? Julian pork, and all we have to really do is it's pretty much not as daunting as the orange chicken, as it's almost just like lumpia. As we really have to do is wrap it up and fry it, deep fry it.
Nice. All right. Well, speaking like a true master of the craft. Okay. Speaking of wrap it up, let's wrap this up by bringing on Jeffrey and Justin right now. So, boys, I'm just wondering, because you guys are giving out these box lunches, and again, 11 to 12:30 is when the lunchtime meal will be distributed at GCC. $10 per person, cash only, please. And there are 200 of them. But just the way these young chefs and Chef Paul are describing it, they're going to go fast. So please make sure to get out to GCC's multipurpose auditorium before 11 in Mangilao. So Jeffrey and Justin, I know as you guys have been very generous to us and let us try your handicraft with the various Asian countries you've been profiling and Hawaii. And even though you guys are giving us box lunches that, are meant to be, transported and moved around, you guys still nail the concept of plating, right? And that's a really hard thing to do because, it's not like you'd be in a restaurant. It's like, oh, here, it's all about, presentation and arrangement and, with sauce and with drizzles and everything. How do you guys actually arrange that in a box and still get it to look so amazing?
So we try to plate up before service so you guys can get the food nice and warm. But at the same time, with the amount of food that we prepared, we try to portion it out like a good amount for each and every one, so everyone gets a good lunch.
Okay, right on. And I guess, okay, and real quick before we go, I got to know about these Chinese style almond cookies again. How do you guys prepare those? I'm a dessert guy, so.
So for the Chinese style almond cookies, there's some input from the spices that were made in China. So we have like the cinnamon and a little bit of 5 spice into it. It is also basically we have like a little design on it as well, like a flower, and topped off with an almond. That's what make it the Chinese almond cookies.
Very nice. Well, you guys are taking up a amazing way of cooking, and we know you guys are not going to let us down because you guys have been batting 1,000 to this point. Good luck to you all. Thank you for feeding our island because as we've talked many times on this segment, with your classmates, with your instructors and with your colleagues, I mean, food is social currency for us on Guam and throughout the world. And you guys are doing a fantastic job. So Chef Paul, the final word is yours.
The final word is mine, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. Why is there 2 S's in dessert?
2 S's in dessert? Okay,
Yes.
well,
Because you don't want to have just 1 serving, you want to have 2 servings. Thank you so much for your support.
Boom. Mic drop. Spatula drop. Good job, chef. Good job, students.
all right, guys, thank you so much. Hey, but
We'll see you later.
Yeah, you guys got to get to work, so thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you guys. So once again, everybody, $10 per person will get you an amazing Chinese lunch or dinner. Once again, real quick, the Chinese lunch by the GCC Culinary Academy is pork chow suey, ginger chicken, vegetable fried rice, Chinese style coleslaw, which I've never had.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to that one, Chris, and stir fried green beans, and then the aforementioned Chinese style almond cookies for dessert. It starts at 11 a.m. at the GCC Multipurpose Auditorium in Mangilao. That's building 400 if you guys just want to look on the side of the building. For dinner, if you can't make it there for lunch, please check out our friends at GCC because starting at 4:30, they will distribute a dinner box that includes orange chicken, beef and broccoli, vegetable fried rice, vegetable lo mein, a fried egg roll, and for dessert, rice pudding.
Wow.
That's a complete meal right there.
$10, guys. Goes to a great cause to help
Yeah.
out the Culinary Academy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Again, this is their exam. These are the lab fees that you will help benefit and everything. And these kids, like as we've talked, there is a career pipeline at GCC where these kids are not only learning, like a trade and a craft. A lot of them are going straight into private restaurants. They're going right into the hotels. Tourism is
Some of them go to school and then they go work in the restaurants.
Yeah, some of them
already
are professional chefs already.
Right.
They're just getting those credentials after their name and everything.
Well,
But
we're just glad to lend our expertise as professional eaters.
Hey, when tourism is open,
Just here to do our part.
Yeah, when tourism is open, man, you guys are doing the Lord's work and everything. So good luck to you guys, man.
There
We
you go.
appreciate it.
And while
Big
we're
fans.
while we're on the subject of the Lord's work, let's keep on rolling with this next interview, Jay.
Now that's a segue.
It is. Bring on Larry Negengast to Harvest Christian Academy. He's the high school principal. Good morning, Principal Larry.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing pretty good. So we wanted to bring you on because, Jeremy had sent me a text about just some of the good stuff you guys are seeing with your outgoing seniors. And I guess we'll just start, a good conversation as a principal, looking back at the last year under this pandemic, just how challenging, how difficult, and what were the bright spots of senior year and just high school during this coronavirus time.
Yeah, there's a lot there with it being a year now, a little over a year since we had to go online. This is now basically 2 graduating classes last year and this year that are both impacted. And I'd say it's a little bit in different ways. A lot of last year's graduating class had their path set, if you will, by this point a year ago. And so just kind of how things finished. The events like graduation and AP testing and just school in general changed for them. The current class, really from day one all the way to today, there was uniqueness to the process, I guess you could say. And some of that would be just what colleges are asking for, what's now needed. For example, SAT and ACT testing have been something that has been always required for many, many years. And now it's been optional last year and then this year. So we're not sure what the future holds with those. But what that does is it puts a little more pressure on some of the other things that these students present. Some of the other things like community service, extracurriculars in the school, their grades, their schedule, what they took over the 4 years of high school. So some of those things you're like, oh, they don't have the pressure of taking a test. That seems like a good thing. But what it does is it puts other pressures on things maybe they got a late start on. So you just never know, year to year, what these kids are going to need to face. It's been pretty consistent, but this past year, there's a few curveballs in there. Another of being just the slow process of applications. Schools just even this week, even yesterday, are letting kids know whether they got in or not. So I would just say patience was key and a true virtue this year with these kids. They did a wonderful job of just being steady. And our guidance counselor, I appreciate her work and with it all. But those would be some of the challenges, just some of the differences that have come about in the last year to this process that's been so consistent for a number of years prior to COVID.
Yeah, hey Larry, this is Jason here. Good morning and half a day. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been a while, so yeah, we're always happy to have you on the show. I'm wondering for your class of graduating seniors, right? What particular words of wisdom, given that that you guys as a faculty have admittedly never been through this kind of thing before, how do you actually get them ready as a college preparatory school to go to the next level and just say, it's been a little weird. We've tried our best to create a framework, an environment where things can be as normal as is safe and as is possible. But as you go on to college and take your next step and everything like that, we want to make sure that the transition is smooth. That you'll never forget where you came from, and that hopefully the educational tempo that we've had you in for the last 4 years, you're going to carry that right into your undergraduate studies. That's a daunting challenge, I can only imagine.
It is because you had 3 years, if you will, or 2 3/4, because of last year, that were a certain way, and now we've had roughly 1 whole school year, fourth quarter and 3 this year. And now we've got fourth quarter where we do have all of our students back, except for a few that have chosen to be online, which is great. So it's been multiple different types of education being thrown at them, if you will, online, hybrid, back now. So I guess a word of wisdom would just the flexibility that's either been forced upon you or that you've adapted with, keep that. Because even going into the workforce is something that is very well appreciated by bosses, is understanding our employers, I should say. Realizing this employee is a flexible person. I mean, not to be taken advantage of, but man, we enjoy working with them. They have a good attitude no matter what faces them. And some of those things for these high school students has been exactly that. Is you for sure thought high school was going to be a certain way, and now it's been anything but normal. But you're still prepared. You're still ready to go and flip the chapter to the next amazing thing, college or whatever is post high school, and just to keep that flexible, adventure seeking attitude as you go, because there's students in college that are online even here on Guam. We have a grad that has adapted his schedule completely to Central Time, so he's basically sleeps in the day here and gets up and does his classes in the middle of the night. But that's how focused he is on doing well, is that he's completely adapted his schedule because he's here online. And so that would be kind of one of my challenges. But then as far as a faculty goes, I guess my message is probably the same. Is teachers love to have things very organized, and their classroom is kind of their little abode that they get to, their little world really, that they get to kind of orchestrate and dictate what goes on in there. And when outside events impact that, just like anyone, that you can kind of get, clenched fists of, I don't want to change again. And I just can't say enough of how wonderful of a job they've done in preparing these students, no matter what's come. And I really believe it's been a good testimony or example to the graduating seniors and other students in our school of you're as a student that needed flexibility and change. And
thanks for bringing that up about the kids who you have graduated, who are now working on their college studies, because we all know how important it is for the Harvest program to literally preach and promote the concept of family. And that has been something for generations of Harvest graduates. Is alumni come back and they impart experience and share wisdom, and just come back and say, with underclassmen, and just say, hey, this is always going to be my alma mater. I want to tell you guys what I've been through. I'm very proud of the school I graduated from. So our members of the class of 2020 from Harvest now, either popping in Zoom every once in a while, or coming back and just telling this year's graduating seniors, hey, this is what you guys have to look forward to and everything. This is what college was like for me. So I want to help you get ready. And kind of like the students are kind of like providing that role of a guidance counselor almost.
As far as 2020, we haven't had very many of them from 1 year ago, but in the past, probably 3 or 4 years of graduates, we've had back on the campus, either in one-on-one meetings with the kids or in small groups that are wanting to know about a certain college and that this grad already attends or attended. And so it has been a unique way of trying to get them involved, just in giving back to the kids that really, really look up to them. I mean, they were junior high and early high school when they graduated. And so things they say, I could say a myriad of true things, but who am I compared to the one that went to said school? And man, what they say is, holds a boatload of wisdom and knowledge. And so we appreciate those that are able to either be on campus or Zoom back in and share. And it is always appreciated for our grads.
Yeah. Now, how about from the faculty's perspective and everything? How, as an administrator, do you make sure that educators are motivated and have the self-discipline to continue what they do? I mean, no doubt in the world whatsoever that your teachers are doing. They've gone above and beyond, and we hear testimony about this all the time. But as the principal at the school, what techniques have you learned to use and everything like that, just to make sure everybody's holding it together and doing the very best job?
Oh man, that I would say is still something I'd learned specifically first semester in how to touch base when you're not together. Like I said, on a normal school day, we can get in and visit and pass by classrooms and check on them and have face-to-face conversation. So the way things are today are to me far better than what they were first semester, where there was a lot of isolation as far as teachers just doing their classes a lot of times from home. Maybe they come into their classroom. So I to me, it was about the right amount of time to be able to allow people to go on like that semester without having the full communication and time in person with people on campus. So to be honest with you, I would say I'm thankful that the Lord led us through it. As far as tips, just frequent communication. We'd have Zoom meetings, but honestly, that personal touch and time together face to face, this is just more proof that there's nothing that replaces that. Even Zoom is great, but there's nothing like being together and being able to, well, you don't hug now, but pat each other on the back and really encourage each other in person.
All right, and last question, because we're coming up against the top of the hour here.
You bet. Go.
You guys are such a wonderful school that promotes a Christian education. Is there a particular part of Scripture that you have noticed that either you or your fellow educators, or even like the students, have shared more than any other, like maybe over the last year and a half, that either galvanizes the mission or just provides like a little bit of insight to go out and to continue your studies, to remain a family, to do what's best for our community?
Yeah, honestly, the verse that comes to mind, it's a group of verses, but specifically one that comes from Joshua chapter 1, when the children of Israel were about to go out and conquer for the promised land. And that's a little bit of what it felt like, returning with hundreds of kids on campus and having another 100 or 150 online, something we'd never done before. 5 full days running 2 schools at the same time. It felt a little bit like that. And so, and the verse is, be strong and of good courage and a sound mind. And that was so important that I shared that story. Is we're not the first to do it. We won't be the last. This has happened before to many peoples all over the world and in history. And that, in our own little school educational world, this is kind of like us going in and doing something we've never done before, and be courageous in it, and don't back down, because this is what our mission is. This is our desire to see these kids educated. And so we've got to march on, and that's what they've done. And that's what I'm proud to say I get to lead. And we're looking forward to a great end of the year.
All right, very nice. Also, St. Thomas Aquinas, of course, the patron saint of all students. So I know there's a bunch of people who consulted Aquinas' wisdom over the last year. So, Larry, this has been an absolute pleasure. We look forward to having you on our show whenever you can spare us a few moments. I got to tell you, this was the only time in my life that I actually said I've been comfortable being in the principal's office. So, I've come full circle now.
Zoom has a way of bringing a lot of comfort. We'll keep our distance, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, God bless you, and we wish you the best as you guys continue this amazing mission that you're on. You're doing a fantastic job. Thanks for your time.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day. And we are going to wrap up here as we get ready to go on KUAM TV. We are going to sign off real quick on the link, but we are back in just a few moments with the second half of the link right here on KUAM.
Thank you. Is proudly brought to you by a Carrier from Aircon Babies, 647 Cool, East West Rental, IT&E, Calvo Enterprises, and Jack in the Box, where you can get the seasoned curly fries. These are great. $3, sauced and loaded curly fries with slow smoked bacon, available in 2 flavors: triple cheddar and spicy pepper jack. $7.59 on the way. Chief of Police Steve Ignacio. We'll also go on with Charlene St. who's the acting senior citizens division administrator for public health, Biba Manomko, and much more, including an in-depth look at news with the KUAM News team, Sabrina Salas Mantanani. Thank you again to our listeners on the breeze, and we're getting ready to go. KUAM FM, Hagatni Guam. My name's Chris.
I'm Sabrina.
Oh, sorry. Again.
I'm Sabrina.
Thank you so much. And so, again, jump on to KUAM TV where the show continues. We've also got the Facebook live feed going. There's an audio stream on Docomo Channel 10. Why is my computer going so slow? All right, so let's do it, guys. Good morning. This is The Link.
Para iyo na, para iglo. islas en para y honra, para y gloria, viva islas en Toru y tempo y paz, para y contra peligro, navas sofuam, Deus proteis Langon. Contra peligro, navas sofuam, Deus proteis. Santa Maria, Zayestina Isla, Bayunetsyo'y naonya,
Hey, good morning, 804. Welcome to the Link. East West Rental, Jack in the Box, Cowboy Enterprises Carrier, IT&E. Proud to present this show to you guys. Good morning, KUAM TV. Morning, Jason.
Good morning. And if you guys were not on with us on Facebook, there is not one, but two wonderful Chinese meals that await you.
Right.
Lunch and dinner. Your friends at the GCC Culinary Academy are going all out today. So please make sure you line up early because they've actually added more box lunches than they normally distribute. They're going for 200 today, but they are going to go fast because they have an amazing Chinese lunch and dinner package.
An homage, a tribute to Chinese takeout. You know,
like
they
that.
could have went so many ways with this Chinese lunch, but they went with Chinese takeout. Which, I mean, who doesn't love Chinese takeout?
And I like how the kids say the most difficult part was the orange chicken because they're like, it's a really delicate meal and And again, how chicken to orange ratio is very important. Have you ever made orange chicken?
No, I have not ever made orange chicken. It's hard. It's something with cornstarch. You fry the chicken over the cornstarch, and then there's I don't know what's in the sauce. They do a packet for it, but I'm pretty sure they didn't use a packet.
I mean, there is a Chamorro version of like beef and broccoli, right? Everybody on Guam makes like beef and broccoli, right?
I think just because of the Chinese influence on so many different cultures and cuisines, there's, beef and broccoli. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Thank you, guys. Hey, we got a bunch of great comments with our Anthems Open, the scenery. Remember we played at 6. People they get a kick out of that. So thank you guys so much. And
people
welcome.
perform along at home and they do like Sina. Like we've seen that.
Especially our congressman. I know he loves doing that Sina. It's cute. That's good stuff. And thank you to our buddy Brian Terlahi for arranging that. That's an awesome performance. Gets me every time.
Brian Swole Terlahi.
Yeah, Brian. Brian Swolahi.
Yeah, if you guys have no idea what you're talking about, the interview's on YouTube. Go check it. Just go into our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KUAM News. Search for Brian Terlahi. And just by typing Terlahi, you're going to find like a lot of interviews with like Speaker Therese Terlahi, but find the one with Brian, right? And he's going to tell you his journey of how he has basically used fitness as his own personal story of triumph. And, he looks in fantastic shape.
He does. It's 8:07. Let's go ahead and get into the news now with the very latest right here on the link. From the KUAM News team. Good morning, Sabrina Salas Matanani.
Hafide, everybody. Good morning. KUAM has confirmed that a wood and tin structure fire that occurred last night in the village of Umatic is the same home where the body of former Umatic Mayor Daniel Sanchez's body was found over the weekend. The Guam Fire Department responded to a wood and tin structure fire just before midnight last night along Jose A. Canata Street in Umatic. GFD confirms with KUAM that the report to 911 was that it was a structure fire where murdered former Umatic Mayor Daniel Sanchez's body was located. KUAM also spoke with Umatic Mayor Johnny Canata this morning, who says the house fire is the same location and is the home of Rudy Canata. As reported, arrested and charged for the former mayor's murder were repeat offenders 59-year-old Rudy Canata and 32-year-old Joyner Scott Sked. A magistrate's complaint charges the duo with murder as a first-degree felony and aggravated assault as a second-degree felony. The charges against Sked include a special allegation for use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. The two appeared for their magistrate's hearing on Monday. Judge Jonathan Kwan set the cash bail at $100,000 for Sked and $50,000 for Canata. Canata and Sked's next court appearance is on April 15th. Opening arguments were delivered Monday morning in the trial, or actually yesterday in the trial of Vianney Jose. He is charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct for his role in allegedly sexually assaulting a teenage girl. Adriana Cotero reports from Judge Elise Iriarty's courtroom.
In November 2018, a 16-year-old female was allegedly sexually assaulted by 3 18-year-old men at a barbecue in Manilao. Drinking was involved and the alleged assault was videotaped. A month after the incident, the videotape went viral. Detectives were tipped off and they found the video circulating social media. Vianney Jose is one of the 3 men seen in the video and accused of raping the victim. Assistant Attorney General Christine Tenorio.
The last thing she remembers is popping a squat to pee in the bush in the yard of the house. That is all she remembers. She does not remember having sex with anybody that night. But you know who does remember, the evidence will show, is each of the boys. Mr. Jose, Mr. Borja, Mr. Pielet, they actually remember. They remember what happened, and also they made a video to keep it.
In addition to the victim testifying, AAG Tenorio plans to bring forward co-defendants Burton Borja, Dwayne Pielet, and Jolene Rankin, all of which have since pled guilty.
This is not a case about a bunch of kids having fun. This is a case about a 16-year-old girl being violated by 3 different adult males at the same time. That is against the law.
Alternate public defender Peter Santos contends the sex was consensual and the victim was not helpless, and it occurred at a graduation party for the young men.
A lot of cases you don't get to see direct evidence. Fortunately, in this case, you're going to see the video, right? Unfortunately, it's graphic in nature. But what you'll see in the video She was not asleep. And as a matter of fact, you'll see in the video, and it'll be pointed out, that she's actively participating in the activity.
Santos says his client was also unaware of a video being recorded, and for this reason, Jose does not face any child pornography charges.
What you have here, what the video will show, and what the witnesses will tell you happened was there was a graduation party. People were having fun. People who were over the age of consent.
The government's case in chief started with testimony from Detective Mary Jane Reval, who was able to identify the individuals in the video. Portions of the trial involving playbacks of the video are sealed from the public. Although during cross-examination, Reval testified the victim was not asleep, and her hands touched one of the man's genitals.
With respect to her age being 16 and them being 18, is that a crime? If it was consensual sex?
No. I'm sorry, Judge. It's okay, if you could clarify the question.
Yeah. Okay. So it wouldn't have been a crime?
No.
All right.
If it was consensual.
When Reval identified the men, they were all off island. It was stated that Jose was enlisted. An arrest warrant was issued for the return, and he was immediately taken into custody at the airport. The second government witness, Jolene Rankin, who was responsible for sending out the sexually explicit video, also testified this afternoon. Trial continues tomorrow at 1:30 p.m.
Media reports that a teenage boy born in Guam but living in Oahu was shot dead by Honolulu police at the end of a chase. He was identified as 16-year-old Iramamber Sikap. A total of 6 people were in the car. A 14-year-old boy was also shot and is in serious condition. According to KITV, they quoted family members that he had made some bad choices in his young life. He was shot multiple times like he was a criminal. He was the baby of the family. The Guam Supreme Court heard arguments on Wednesday on Guam Music Inc.'s appeal of a Superior Court ruling last year that the rules and regs for gaming machines were not legally adopted. Attorney Randy Cunliffe argued that regardless of whether they were or not, the 300 or so Liberty machines operated by Guam Music were already valid under existing statute. Assistant Attorney General Marianne Wolashuk said DRT exceeded its authority in promulgating the rules and regs. Supreme Court justices have taken the matter under advisement. The hearing was just the latest in the legal battle over Liberty machines, which goes back many years. The legislature has passed laws outlawing such gambling, but also passed a grandfather clause to allow existing machines at the time to continue to operate. Speaker Therese Terlahi, who chairs the Committee on Land, will be holding an oversight hearing this afternoon for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. She plans to focus on the status of the promised but still unfulfilled return of federal excess lands listed since 2017 and other lots removed from or added to the list in 2020. The speaker adds that it has also come to her attention that the government of Guam may intend to bypass the Ancestral Lands Commission and keep returned properties for local government projects, citing as an example Eagles Field in Manilao, where Governor Lulian Guerrero has announced is property she is eyeing for the construction of a new hospital and central public health facility. The oversight for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission is 3 o'clock this afternoon. People will be able to participate either face-to-face or virtually. As we move forward with the Path to Have program to have 50% of the island fully vaccinated and reopen travel on May 1st, the Guam International Airport became the first U.S. airport in the Micronesian and Polynesian region to receive international recognition in achieving the Airports Council International, or ACI, Airport Health Accreditation, which is an independent third-party review of the airport's protocols and processes in providing a safe airport experience for all travelers. GIAA Executive Manager John Kanata says the ACI Airport Health Accreditation Program provides yet another international recognition for GIAA in its continued pursuit of ensuring proper health and hygiene standards are adhered to, and follows the airport being the first on Guam to have been awarded the World Travel and Tourism Council's Safe Travel stamp back in July 2020. The Guam Visitors Bureau announces that 25 businesses have been approved for the Guam Safe Certification and World Travel and Tourism Council Safe Travel stamp. The program launched on March 15th as part of the governor's reopening plan for tourism. The program's mission is to help rebuild confidence among the local community and visitors as travel restrictions ease and the tourism industry revives. GVB serves as the official organization to issue the certification and stamp to local businesses with the assistance of public health. To date, 25 of 31 applications have been approved. And with more news, here is Peter Santos.
Confident good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Santos with your headlines here on The Link. The legislature has submitted its legal brief in a far-reaching case now before the Guam Supreme Court, a case meant to clarify the governor's power to order quarantine during a public health emergency. Nestor Lecanto has more.
The High Court sought the legislature's input on what it considers a fundamental separation of powers question, and senators earlier this month approved by unanimous consent a resolution by Speaker Therese Terlahi to submit a formal brief as an interested party in the case. The governor is challenging the constitutionality of certain provisions of the 2003 Islan Guahan Emergency Health Powers Act. This after Superior Court Judge Elise Iriarte ruled in favor of travelers who petitioned the court for their release.
These two statutes in particular give individuals access to the courts if they wanted to appeal their quarantine, and so that these would be protections for those who were being quarantined and thought that it should be reviewed by someone else.
The legislature further contends that Congress granted it concurrent authority with the governor over public health services and quarantine policy. This as evidenced by the use of the term subject to the laws of Guam.
We stand firm that these are within the powers of the legislature, and as is the power to make laws regarding health care in general.
The Speaker recalls that the Emergency Health Powers Act was introduced by former Governor Eddie Calvo, then a senator, during a measles outbreak. It was eventually signed into law by former Governor Carl Gutierrez, now a senior advisor to Governor Leon Guerrero.
It was debated at the time, and they pointed out exactly what we are discussing today, that there are, potentials for abuse of power.
Ironically, Governor Leon Guerrero was one of the supporters of the bill. In her brief, Legislative Counsel Anna Juanpat Borja quotes the legislative record in which then Senator Leon Guerrero said, quote, "The bill, I think, protects the individuals who are isolated or quarantined and feel that their rights have been violated. Because sometimes in emergency situations, panic can occur, and you may come into situations where you may just be isolating and quarantining people, maybe unnecessarily." For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
A jury found Phillips James Sablan guilty of second-degree criminal sexual conduct as a first-degree felony for sexually abusing an 8-year-old child. According to KUM News Files, the incident occurred in April 2020 and was reported the following month. Prosecuting attorney Sean Brown said, quote, "Predators sometimes target children with the idea that they won't talk, or if they do, no one will listen or believe them. Here, the young victim was brave enough to tell her family what happened, and even braver to tell the jury and a room full of strangers what happened to her. We thank the victim and her family for their bravery and participation. We'd also like to thank the jury for really listening to her, not just her words, but also how she testified," end quote. Sablan is facing 5 to 20 years imprisonment and will be sentenced on July 9th. A bill to clarify the 10% hazardous pay law upon exposure law for customs personnel was discussed Wednesday at the legislature. While the law has been on the books for about 5 years, Chief of Customs Vincent Perez says the hazard differential has never been paid out. He says there's been a continuous back and forth with the administration department with still no clarity over who and when should get paid. He urged senators to resolve the issue, especially now that the pandemic has hit.
Officers were exposed and continue to be exposed. Customs was responsible for identifying, isolating, and interviewing these passengers, as well as coordinating with the public health for more in-depth screening and quarantine action. And we've also had officers and continue to have officers assigned to the quarantine facilities today. And still, no hazardous duty differential has been paid out.
He also read the emotional testimony from the widow of Customs Officer Renny Tumanda, who passed away from COVID last September. Speaker Terlahi said the current law is, quote, crystal clear, and DOA needs to explain in writing exactly what the holdup is. That's the news for now. We'll see you all at 6 tonight on Primetime.
The Guam Department of Education is making the grade. Its FY 2020 audit marks GDOE's 8th consecutive year with unmodified audit opinions on its financial statements and compliance over major federal program requirements, demonstrating the department's sustained commitment to fiscal responsibility and improved audit performance. GDOE has worked hard over the past decade to sustain operational improvements and strong internal controls as it works toward relief of its specific conditions and high-risk designation. And with more news from the Department of Education, here is Tyler Matsinani.
Distribution of MiFi devices began today at the Sinahanya Mayor's office for the GDOE providing access to homes or PATH program. The program provides families in need with 50 gigabytes of internet data a month and is provided through ESF funding under the CARES Act. GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez.
We're going to be doing this in Agate at the Mayor's office and then the afternoon at the Agate Market. So that'll be Thursday and Friday. Saturday, we'll be doing it at the Dededo Mayor's office from 8 to 4. Monday through Wednesday of next week, we will be at Mangilao Night Market from 10 to noon and then from 3 to 7. And then Thursday, we'll be back in Sinahanya. And then Friday and Saturday back in Dededo. So we have this, this will be on our Facebook and our website. For those who are interested in getting those details.
Parents have until April 9 to register their child for the online model of learning. Otherwise, schools will anticipate their return for face-to-face instruction. Hard copy will no longer be offered as a model of learning come next school year. If internet access is an issue, parents are encouraged to contact their child's school for more information on how to register for the PATH program. In line with the recent approved vaccination age eligibility, Public Health will set up school-based vaccination clinics for students 16 years and older. The first clinic will be held on Monday, April 12th at Teadston High.
That'll help facilitate what we hope will be, further students and employees vaccinated by the time we get to the next school year.
And as the school year comes to a close, the department is gearing up for summer school, which Fernandez predicts will be conducted as one session with extended hours. Deadline for registration for school year 2021 to 22 is Friday, April 9. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
Stranded on Guam for over a year, beginning next month, repatriation flights for FSM citizens will begin, but only on a limited basis. Here's more. The initial flight is scheduled for May 13th, but only for 40 citizens, and its destination is to Pohnpei. FSM Consul General Teresa Philippin.
The state of Pohnpei is the most up to standard with their quarantine facility right now. They've been working really hard over the past year, equipping the facilities and trying to get the healthcare professionals trained enough to be able to handle this measure.
The first flight is priority for medical patients and their attendants, students, and for high-level diplomats from the FSM government. According to the FSM President's office, the repatriation was made possible through a diplomatic note sent to the U.S. government requesting a humanitarian assistance flight from Guam to the FSM. It was limited to 40 because of the quarantine capacity in Pohnpei. Repatriation was initially scheduled last December, but due to the lack of sufficient medical personnel and lack of ventilator training, it was postponed. According to the FSM's President's office, physicians from the CDC, U.S. Health and Human Services, and the Department of Defense will be deployed to help build medical capacity and provide assistance during the initial repatriation efforts. For those on the first flight, several requirements must be met before and after they land in Pohnpei.
We're going to have to quarantine them pre-departure, and of course they're going to they're required to be to have their full vaccination shots and get tested while in quarantine.
According to Philippine, an estimated 350 FSM citizens are stranded here. The nation closed its borders because of the pandemic and has maintained a COVID-free status, and they want to keep it that way.
The FSM, wants to keep this airtight and make sure that everything, that there's no possibility of the virus getting into the country. So quarantine, pre-departure quarantine.
President Biden is calling on all states to make all adults eligible for COVID-19 vaccines by April 19th if they haven't already done so. But even as daily vaccination rates have soared in recent months, new daily cases have started to tick up. Federal health officials say the nation is still at risk of another surge. Natalie Brand reports.
In less than 2 weeks, President Biden wants all states to make all adults eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine if they haven't already done so. And while getting a vaccine appointment is still a concern in some places, federal health officials stress that is changing.
There was a gap between supply and demand, and literally every day that goes by, if that gap is closing.
The updated vaccine timeline comes as many states have lifted COVID restrictions and daily new cases have started to climb.
This fight isn't over.
In Michigan, which leads the nation in new cases, Governor Gretchen Whitmer got her shot Tuesday. The CDC found the B.1.1.7 variant that originated in the UK accounted for nearly 40% of Michigan's cases last month.
The B.1.1.7 variant is now the most common lineage circulating in the United States.
The Biden administration says it does not plan to mandate a vaccine passport system, but federal health officials say they expect businesses and universities to take action on their own.
They're going to say, we're not going to have you come in unless you get vaccinated. You're not going to see that from a federal government mandate.
At least 8 colleges have already said they'll require vaccinations for students returning to campus this fall. In K through 12 schools, the CDC estimates nearly 80% of teachers and school staff have received at least one dose of the vaccine. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Wednesday evening, the Joint Information Center reports that out of 568 test samples taken on the 6th, 3 tested positive for COVID. Of the new cases, one was identified through contact tracing, bringing the total of officially reported cases of COVID since last year to 7,828. 30 cases are active. More than 7,600 people have recovered. There has been a total of 136 COVID-related deaths. The CAR score remains at 0.2. Also, the Department of Public Health and Social Services issued a guidance memo to update an item indicated under authorized businesses and services during PCOR 3 relative to organized sports and non-contact training, provided 6 feet distance is maintained, including while in an enclosed space, and if held outdoors, the number of participants is limited to no more than 50 persons who are allowed only one guest per player. And with Chamorro News, here is Kin Concepcion.
Buenas anafades tiga suntu siag venut samorugin ni KUM News para webis de 8 de abril 2021. I legislatura sa masamiti zonyal legal briefing gisen seryoso na kausa no kay gipawag gi Supreme Court of Guam. Azo na kausa sa para madetermina do pursi poder ko betno para huode ni karantina mentas sa public health emergency. E mastat kiro na kotti sa SPI legislatura para hafa makonsidera fundamento ni sinaparan elemento pat poder. Sa senador siya sa mapreba ni todo as a resolution ni introducing ni Speaker Teresa Lahi para masamiti format na brief di patidan interesao no este na kausa. Ako kontra gobyerno palo siya na probisyon guhigi 2003 Islanguahan Emergency Health Powers Act. ST ane si Wesley Lisa Riarty a favor man babuta no mapetisyon ni Korte para formasota gini karantina. E legislatura makontento na Congress sa manais siya pareho na autoridad sa gobyerno gisibisyon di salud publiko sa podato na lengguahe ni elect niya subject to the laws of Guam. Di otro, masoda ni jury na umiso si Phillips James Sablan no second degree criminal sexual conduct no primer degradum felony sa podinabut sumbas ni 8 anyos na patgun. Según file KUM News, masusedi este gi abrit na mes, gi 20-20 na sakan, dati ma-report hasta ki siguiente mes. I prosecutor na abagaw Sean Brown, asangan na guan na biyahi, ado siya na klasen tautagi ni muspipe famagun, sa nasunyan na tifangeya, padzatangin mangwentes tufan maekong o paruhufan mahongi. Loeste na hobin biktima sa senti kubadi, parusangan ni familiar niya, the mas valiente, parusangan gimena ni jury jan strangero siya na tautagi, hafa matsugwan niya. Ilang niya mas, si Jus Maasi para familia para barbaron niya sa ni Mansauno winin na kausa anay loki jury agradecimento sa purmasene kung ukipat kon ay te pari sa nangangan niya loy taymano man na testimonyo apafana si Sablan 5 hasta 20 años gi preso por masentensya gi dian webe gi Julio pagunasakan dimba sa sunto ginikoti admite si Joseph Gerard Lazarus Sharkalov na mas kumbiaya committee sexual assault yun ho bensita Maaresta si Shargala, 55 anos na edad, za maatake ni 5 kwenta na second-degree criminal sexual conduct na segundo degrado na felony, za mina 4 degrado na criminal sexual conduct no misdemeanor. Según dokumento ni Koti, obensita sa kiaji si Shargalov, no tanga, na finena na hinakot gwi a Shargalov, gimapos na tempon somnak, sinanig gwi papa gisat gi, pero pinatsa, zainado gwi, ani umo-umak. Gi Disembre gi 2020 na sakan, ilang nga biktima na pinatsan timaulig gwi a Shargalov, ani mamay ko gwi giulo katri, za sinenas gwi pero abaliidos. Ani magkwestiona si Shargalov ni polisiya and the sign language translator, at miti na adui biktima na istabay yalong bonyo, za sangan mas na tinentagwi ni biktima sa sumin magagagu. Giitinigay na si Shargalov na statemento kula na admite na patsayo bensita ana istabay hulo katri. Gimas, ahungo ki Supreme Court argumento siya gi Merkules para di kausan appeal Guam Music Inc. no isineda Superior Court of Guam ni rules and regulations para makinamway ko siya sa timadapta gi iligat na manera. Iabagaton niya Guam Music Inc. si Randy Cunliffe o magamento na masyal ligat parahe taipali sa estadyo kasi 300 na Liberty Machine siya numinanin niya ni Guam Music Inc. sa tiprobido segoni kurente nalay. Assistant Attorney General Marian Wolushak asangan na Department of Revenue and Tax sa upo si dupur siya tudadat niya para maproklama adyo na reglamento siya para makinanwego. Justisya siya gikote sa matsuli argumento siya para inabiso. Este na hearing sa mas nuevo gimini mo ni Liberty Machines no esta pod anos na tempo destiken man argumento. Mapasalay siya ni legislatura di mana probido y neposta siya gin na klasen makina lo mapasalo kaya di grandfather clause no masedia di siya y mana sasabias na makina para makontinua. Yutumu ilang yung Speaker Teresa Lai na tabiat resist bi inepi gikatanya siya gwati gi Chamorro Land Trust Commission na board mas informasyon pada di maatsaki direktor no fefesas uno na hendentano para utsogi iti dinansi. Ani hendentano sa asangan na doon na sinisedi gi meeting i board gi Febrero na mes matutun ma-imbestiga. Man ma-interview otro na dentano siya sa manafandan niya to digi yung report lo teorisisi biya doon informasyon si Terlahi. Ilang yan na kumutisinya commission manaigwi no adyo siya na informasyon pero sugon mo na otro parso asangan na kwa esta komunikasyon sa ni chairperson ni board niulig niya na magigya siya mo na ginisgayon ni Zonia Legal Counsel para este na artikulo lo sa po di Legal Counsel sa Assistant Attorney General ilang yung Terlahi na pwede mo na hinirada bagadong guahan Liben Camacho na unay mas intensyon at masusesa di siya na natbarote gi CLTC. Kada dia hungog kasunto sa natikulo siya ni mafafkitay tanota gifinot sa moro. Kung gi islat sa moro streaming radio gi pelagon KUAM. Ano para KUAM.com sa naligaw gi disibisyo siya ni nafafatu ni KUAM para KUAM News guaw si Ken Conception.
Not alone in the world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Bud Light Seltzer, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time each Friday to talk food, taste food, and bring you all the latest and greatest in food from King's Restaurants and Ruby Tuesday Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything on the menu in between. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link.
When we throw things away, where is away? What happens to our waste, and where does it go? As a community of small islands, the waste crisis is a large issue we want to bring into focus. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance presents From Our Nanas for Our Nennies, a video series about taking a holistic view of our present, finding wisdom from our past, and inspiring a better future. Airing every week during Earth Month, brought to you by Humanities Guahan and the National Endowment for the Humanities.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Only one company on Guam provides every solar energy solution under one roof. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You want solar only? They got that. You want solar with batteries? They got that too. You want outright purchase or lease purchase? It's up to you. Does your solar system need a tune-up? That's what they do. For solar energy solutions from A to Z, you can count on MRE. Give them a call at 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, providing real solar solutions built by real solar experts.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by the Bank of Guam and KFC.
Uno Go, delivering meals from your favorite restaurants and more, including delivering sodas and adult beverages from the Bottle Shack. Visit uno-go.com or download the app today. Also follow them on Instagram and Facebook.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KUAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KUAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
It's Dirty Politics Weekly on the Link, live on location. Every week, Chris and Sabrina will interview different political leaders out in the field to address environmental problems in our community. See firsthand how illegal dumps, littering, and other issues are plaguing our beautiful island and what's being done to help. Part of our Sustainability Matters campaign for Earth Month, in partnership with the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability and Guam Green Growth. Presented by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Reduce before you produce. GESI.
Hafide, and welcome back to the Link. We are going to head straight into the Zoom room to talk with our next guest. He is the Chief of Police, Steve Ignacio. Good morning, Steve.
Hi, morning, Bree. Morning, Chris. Hafide.
I want to just start right out the box with last night, that fire in Pneumatic.
Yes. So I just received a notice this morning that last night at about 11:50 p.m., the officers from Agate Precinct were called to a structure fire, which they later determined was, upon arrival, they determined it was the residence where this homicide that occurred, or I'm sorry, the death that occurred regarding the former mayor, Daniel Sanchez. So I'll be talking to the fire chief and see if he has his arson investigators to go back to the scene, or if they were on scene last night to conduct the arson investigation and determine, what was the cause of the fire. I do know that we did, I believe we were done with the evidence collection at the scene and all that. So that's all I have available for right now.
So was there still police tape that was up, or there was no police tape around this area?
I'm not sure, but I can check with our criminal investigation division. But as far as I know, I believe we were done with the scene because we were holding a scene, and because we believe that it contains evidence, and we're not done with evidence collection. Then usually what we do is we put a stationary What that means is that we leave officers at the crime scene until we're done executing warrants or until we're done collecting evidence. And, we have no need any longer for the scene.
You said you were going to be requesting if GFD has sent or is going to send, or you want them to send arson investigators down to that site?
No, I believe that that's a standard protocol for the fire department. So I'll be reaching out to Fire Chief Dan Stone and find out, if there were any findings regarding the fire.
I see. What's your gut feeling, though? Do you think somebody intentionally set that place ablaze?
I'm not sure, Bree. I mean, we rely on physical evidence, and the evidence tells us, if it was intentional or not.
But it certainly is a coincidence.
And I think most people can assume that, but again, we don't work on assumptions. We work on evidence of crimes if they occur.
And just for further clarification, this particular house where the former mayor's body was found, that is the home of Rudy Kanata, one of the suspects?
That is my understanding. That is where he was residing at the time.
And he was living with Joyner Scott Sked, that house?
I believe, she's a frequent, if not a resident with Rudy, then she's a frequent visitor or occupant of that residence.
Do you have any other information regarding this particular case as to what happened or why they may have allegedly murdered the former mayor?
No, Bree. As a matter of fact, when I spoke to CID yesterday, they were still actively investigating that case. Even though an arrest was made, there's still work that has to be done. There's still interviews for family members, friends, associates that have to be completed. And so it's by no means a closed case yet. Yeah.
Okay. I also wanted to follow up on the Jerry's Kitchen investigation. When we had Paul on earlier this week, he said that the findings from Highway would be forwarded to you. Do you have any update?
Yeah, so actually, I had the case forwarded to me so that I could have it delivered over to the AG's office, and they're reviewing the case. Throughout this Jerry's Kitchen, we went on a fact-finding mission at first, to find out, if there's any things that that we need to know about the case other than what was being reported on the traffic accident report. Throughout this investigation, I have always kept the Attorney General's office and his prosecution team informed of our findings. And so, I've had a couple of meetings with them as we worked on this case. So I did forward all the initial findings that we had up until this past Monday. I delivered a copy of the report to them. But I was just as recent as yesterday, I was informed that there was an additional interview that was going to be conducted sometime this week. So I'm looking forward to that interview and seeing if there's any additional information that we have. But it's still an active investigation.
I see. Has any officer or the responding officer, are they still reporting for work? Has any action or anything been taken against any officer that was involved with this? Or you can't really?
No. So all of the findings, if there was any findings that I felt would rise to the level that I would need to conduct an internal affairs investigation and place officers on administrative leave, I definitely would have done that already. But nothing that I have yet, rises to that level. But again, I still continue to coordinate and communicate with the AG's office so that we can report our findings to them. And, we continue to work on, moving forward with the Jerry's Kitchen. But it's by no means a done case. Like I said, as recent as yesterday, I was informed that an additional interview was going to be done. And so, it's still something that's actively being investigated.
Why are you forwarding it to the AG's office?
Because, we have some information that we're coordinating with them. And so, like I said, we don't want to talk too much about ongoing investigations. Suffice to say that we've been working with them.
Is that typical for an imprudent driving case?
No, but like I said, we didn't have any information other at the beginning. But as the investigation unfolded, we've developed more information, and that's the purpose of investigations.
So there was more information stemmed from a ticket for imprudent driving at Jerry's Kitchen when somebody plowed into this private restaurant that has prompted the AG to kind of work with you guys.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to elaborate because, it's still an active investigation. So, Bri, at some point, investigations come to an end. And at that point, when the investigation is completed, then, we can release more information.
Well, okay. I'm glad you said that because it's kind of a different story when it comes to the Chamorro Land Trust Commission. But anyway, there's some bills that are before the Guam legislature. One was earlier this week, I believe, on Monday, regarding this whole bill to legalize silencers and noise reduction. I don't know, pieces that you put on to a gun. I'm not a gun person, or mufflers, whatever you call them. What is the GBD's position on this bill?
So I have an initial draft of our position, and I just met yesterday with our firearms examiners. They're the experts in this field. Mm-hmm. So, as we look across the country and we look at and we do some research as to the effect on our island, I see that over 40 states, I believe, is it 40 or 42 states, allow the use of suppressors. And what they do is they just reduce the noise. And, and talking to my firearms experts, what was presented to the legislature, I had another meeting, so I couldn't provide our testimony that day. But, I actually went back and I listened to the testimony that was provided by those that came out to testify in favor of the bill. And, what they reported, is the same thing that I found out from my firearms experts, and I have two within the department, that, all suppressors do is they minimize the noise level. And, I guess it's appropriately called the Hearing Protection Act, for those who are avid gun enthusiasts. And so, 40 plus states, authorize it. That's just probably, 80% of the country. And so, I am inclined possibly to, it looks like I'm probably going to put a letter of support for this bill. But, one of the things that, we do know through, the research and the process that, it's a highly regulated item that's used as an attachment to a firearm. And, you go through a background check and you fill out a process and go get approval from ATF. And so, my proposal to that is we're looking at, whether or not we should also then require that we register these suppressors on island to an owner and, possibly maybe even to a firearm that they intend to use it on. Right. So we're looking at that, and we're exploring, what other jurisdictions are doing and seeing if they require, because you go through a stringent process of being vetted by the ATF, to possess suppressors. And so, and even I think one of the people that testified, said that Guam has one of the more strict gun laws on that they're aware of. People are required to have a firearms ID, and firearms are mandated to be registered in Guam. And so we're one actually of very few jurisdictions that have this mandate in place. And then I think that goes, to making sure that, we know where guns are at in our community and in whose hands they get into.
Okay, so that's probably, you're looking into that, and that it might be a recommendation that you might make to the legislature. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so it's just possibly offering an amendment that we require that they be registered as well, just like any other firearm.
Okay. There was another bill, and I think it was just in the past couple of days it was introduced as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, and it deals with the concealed firearms that, there's certain areas where you're not allowed to bring in a gun, the courts and a couple other areas. Now they're trying to add on, which I was surprised it's not already on the list, is police precincts. I would think that would be
Yes,
something
and,
that you would support.
Yeah, so I've actually asked. I've asked that. I asked my legal officer to look into that, and we did come up with some guidance. But yeah, you're right. The law as currently written identifies specific bases, and one of them was a courthouse, because I always wondered, what authority do other branches of government have to what did they use, legal authority they use to have you surrender your firearm when you come in. And so courthouses are known as places where you do that. And we found out that police precincts are one of those places that are not listed. However, if you take the holding facility or a jail, a jail is listed. So all police precincts have jails, so we kind of apply that to our situation. But I think sometimes when the law is not clear or is vague, then you go and you request to amend the law so that it becomes very clear where it is and isn't allowed. One of the places and sometimes my officers ask, I go into Civil Service Commission, and we're not allowed to carry firearms, and so I don't know if they're going to be part of that that request to amend the law, but we abide by it. It's a requirement that they have. So whether or not it's legal or lawful, we still abide by it.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in the same government.
Of course, I'm going to follow up on the online gambling. Anything new?
No, nothing new. I'm still waiting for feedback, I guess, from Secret Service, and that's still an ongoing investigation, a federal ongoing investigation. Mm-hmm. Like I said, in the past, I still don't know the extent, and I don't know what information they all have. And I'm sure at some point when they're ready to move, and we'll learn more. We'll probably learn more of the same things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we're. You have anything else that you'd like to get out?
What's going on, Chief?
Oh, not much going on. It's just we come in every day and do what we need to do. But I'd like to thank you all for having me on your show. I'd like to thank my officers again, for doing what they do, coming in and day out, and keeping our community safe. And tonight we have a meeting with first meeting in I think in a very long time. We're meeting with our Neighborhood Watch program area commanders at Sinanya at I believe 6 p.m. So I was excited to go back out and see our Neighborhood Watch groups, and continue the good work that we're doing in collaboration with them.
And is this going to be with all the watch commanders or just Sinanya?
Well, no, I believe it's the island-wide block commanders or captains, and of course, keeping with guidelines, I think it's going to, of course, be less than 50 people.
Sarge, I wanted to, Sarge, Chief. Sorry, you're used to having Sergeant Tapao on.
You just demoted.
I know.
Sometimes it's still early at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Now, Chief, I wanted to follow up because I reached out to the mother of Michael Castro. He's been missing since October last year. Has there been any new information or any developments in that case?
No, but that is a very active investigation. Believe it or not, I know it's been a while, but we still stay in touch with the missing person's mom, and we do keep her abreast of what's going on. But that is a very active investigation, and until such time, we determine otherwise, we still treat it as a missing person because that's how it was initially reported, and that's how we treat it as is, because we haven't found him or any other information to prove that something else happened other than being missing.
Right. Did you guys anticipate brakes when his vehicle was discovered? Did you think that could have been a point where something could have come down?
No, Chris, I can't say any more about beyond that, really, honestly.
And then I was also reaching out to the family of Juan Ogun, who was shot at Mangilao a couple Christmases back. Is there an update on that case too, Chief?
No, I don't have an update on that. Yeah, I wasn't aware we were going to talk about that. Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
You guys are planning for Police Week, right? Isn't it next month?
No, no. So what happened is we were planning to do something in May, but I just received an email, or I'm sorry, a story was sent to me that the National Police Week has been moved to October. October 14, 15, and 16. And that was done by the organizations, the nonprofit organizations that host, that usually plan out the National Police Week events. And so they've shifted everything to the right all the way up until October. So, in keeping in line with the national celebration, I've decided also to shift our celebration to the right, to October, to be in line with the national celebration as well.
Okay. Before we let you go, I did want to follow up on something because we've heard it from other law enforcement agencies, and this is related to the COVID differential pay. Different law enforcement agencies are behind in making those payments. Is GPD up to date?
I was, as of last week, I was all the way up to January 30th. So that means I only have February and March to pay. My overtime, I believe, is up until February 16th. And we may have, we may be processing something this week again. Yeah.
Okay. So COVID differential pay, you guys are behind, and overtime is behind.
Yeah. So we're not as backlogged as before. We used to be 3 or 4 months, but I think we're only tracking about a month and a half for overtime, or a month, and then about 2 months for COVID pay.
Is
it? Like I explained before, it's just a very tedious, manual intensive. I mean, I am paying clerks. I'm paying my payroll clerks and even my records clerk come in after hours to sort through this paperwork to make sure that it's correct before we submit it for payment. But there's a lot that goes, a lot of labor, manual labor goes into paying out differential pay.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I heard. It's just because it's the different levels of exposure and all the other.
And for me, we want to make sure that our paperwork is is complete and straightforward from the get-go, because these are the same documents that we submit to the federal government for reimbursement. Right. So that's making sure that we have this properly documented is the way that we need to do it from the get-go, so that we make sure that we get as much reimbursement from the federal government that we're entitled to under this pandemic.
Yeah, but what would you say though to those who might say, "But we've been doing this for a year. How could you not have figured it out yet?"
Because it's not figuring out. It's just the manual process that it's involved. It's not about figuring out. It's not like it's not like we're encountering a new problem every other week or every week. It's just the process that's involved. It's really labor intensive, really, to say the least.
Chief, are there going to be any checkpoints this weekend?
None that I'm aware of yet.
Okay.
Yeah. But we've been doing a lot of radar enforcement.
I know. I see.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still out there.
Chief,
what about the fatals? Any updates on the fatals that have been that have happened on island? I remember there was the one in Dededo that occurred. I don't know if we hadn't heard anything about that.
Let me have Sergeant Paul Tapao get updates, and we'll send them to you. I know that we do look into the fatal crashes when they do occur.
Yeah.
And if there's any work that needs to be done, we do it and get it out of the way. Mm-hmm. But I'll ask Sergeant Paul update you because I do know that sometimes we just put it out there and we forget to do a follow up. Mm-hmm. To report back to the community what our findings were.
Sarge, are you finding
food, speed, alcohol, whatever?
Right, yeah. Right. With the laser enforcement and just with the highway people out and these fatals and accidents, are you finding that maybe people are a little rusty being out here driving with all the traffic that we have now in Pecor 3?
No, I mean, it's actually, I think what they're doing is just part of our federal grant enforcement levels. Yeah, it's tied to the money that we receive through enforcement.
So you have to do X amount of speed checks.
Right. We have to meet our mandates under our program agreements. Right.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. So drive safe out there.
Right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks,
All right. Thank you.
Chief.
Thank you,
That's
Reed. Thank you, Chris. Take care.
Okay.
Good day.
Right on. I just got a text from Sergeant Tabal.
What?
Stop calling my boss Sergeant.
You know, you did that twice too. You did it again at the end.
Ah.
And fortunately, Bree tried to talk, and you're like, "Hey, Sergeant." I was like, "Man,
God." I think you better ask him to come on next time.
He's Chief.
All right, it's 9 o'clock.
I was gonna say what if you said, Sarge? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Andy. So anyway, I have the answer to your
right. Yeah. Okay. It's 9 o'clock. We're KUAM FM. I got you, Guam. We're going to take a quick break, and we're back with more of The Link and the Acting Administrator of Public Health Senior Citizens Division next. Good morning.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Bud Light Seltzer, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time each Friday to talk food, taste food, and bring you all the latest and greatest in food from King's Restaurants and Ruby Tuesday Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything on the menu in between. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link.
When we throw things away, where is away? What happens to our waste, and where does it go? As a community of small islands, the waste crisis is a large issue we want to bring into focus. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance presents From Our Nanas for Our Nennies, a video series about taking a holistic view of our present, finding wisdom from our past, and inspiring a better future. Airing every week during Earth Month, brought to you by Humanities Guahan and the National Endowment for the Humanities.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Only one company on Guam provides every solar energy solution under one roof. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You want solar only? They got that. You want solar with batteries? They got that too. You want outright purchase or lease purchase? It's up to you. Does your solar system need a tune-up? That's what they do. For solar energy solutions from A to Z, you can count on MRE. Give them a call at 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, providing real solar solutions built by real solar experts.
And welcome back to The Link on a Thursday. We are going out to the Department of Public Health right now, where Charlene St. Nicholas is one of the wonderful people that has been working super hard, not just during the pandemic, but especially during this very, very awkward time. And Charlene and her team have been doing the good work that they are doing as the Actor Senior Citizens Administrator for a very, very long time, taking care of our island's beloved Manomco, our elderly, the people in our community that we cherish so much. We have so much reverence for them. Charlene, first of all, Hafaday, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on. And to talk about Senior Citizens Month, I also, if I may, just want to bring out that it is still Public Health Awareness Week. And while I'm on with Chris and yourself, our team is also doing virtual live on Division of Senior Citizens Services. So starting at 9. So if I can just plug on a little bit there. So
sure.
Within the division, so today's 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock is on Division of Senior Citizens Aging Services. At 10:30, we're going to have a topic on APS presentation. The DSC service presentation will be presented by Chad Palomo, who's a program coordinator with the division. The 10:30 presentation on APS, Adult Protective Services, will be presented by Evelyn Manabusan, our social service supervisor 1. Our 2 o'clock presentation will be presented by a management analyst 4, Erica Tyron, and Daryl Dearest, program coordinator 3, on elderly nutrition program. And so we've got like 2 multiple things happening today. And I don't have the Zoom link. I can forward it. Oh, no, I do. The meeting ID.
Oh, yes, please.
925-5626-806. I'll repeat it again, and I'll forward you the flyer.
Okay, thank you.
925-5626-8606, and the passcode is DPHSS. So that's DPHSS. If you can,
We'll certainly pass that along. Yeah, everybody, we'll put it in the comments so that that if you or people you know that want to find out what the good folks at Public Health do at the Senior Citizen Division, or if you have any questions, or just go there and say congratulations and thank you for the wonderful work that they do. So Charlene, I've often wondered, I've had the great pleasure of interviewing folks from your division a number of times over the years, and I've kind of thought, like what kind of person has a calling. I don't want to say, they choose it, or, they get placed there, or they're detailed and everything. But what kind of person has a calling to work with senior citizens and literally make that their life's work? What's the background typically? Do they come from social work, or is it just, we all take care of the generation that came before us. It's who we are as Guamanians. But what do you see as far as, the pedigree?
It's varied. We have some that have been in child welfare, social welfare services. We have some that have come in from behavioral health. I came from on the child welfare over to aging. I didn't think I was going to be here this long, but I've been here. Our other colleagues have come from behavioral health, others from other disciplines, as I mentioned, behavioral health, DISIT. Evelyn Manabusan came from our disabilities group. Some that are PCs, program coordinators, are coming from the public health side. So it just varies on an individual, I would say.
Yeah, I was interviewing Dr. Tien Trin from American Medical Center last week, and the work that he does with geriatric medicine. And he's a family practitioner, but he also does a lot with caring for seniors. And certainly it's a very specific specialization that you have to do. But what are some of the challenges that you see in being able to do your work? Obviously, manpower is always going to be an issue, but it's a very distinct type of caring that you have to exhibit.
Right, correct. But first off, in order for us to do this and provide our services, we do go through the procurement process, whether through request for proposals, invitation for bids, or memorandum of understanding. So that's a challenge in and of itself. We do recognize that we are not able to do this ourselves. We currently are under 10 in terms of staffing at this time. We do this through our network, those RFPs, IFBs, MOUs, in terms of engagement with service providers and vendors, enable us to provide the home and community-based services. So this includes 6 supportive services, and they range from adult daycare, case management services, in-home services. Now we have legal assistance services, senior center operations, and transportation services at this point. And then we've got nutrition. We've got congregate meals, home delivered meals. We have preventive health. We have the National Family Caregiver Support Program. And then amongst the other aging services, we do have our state health insurance assistance program, state Medicare patrol program. We've got our elder abuse program and our ombudsman program, and our volunteers who help us. So big part of it are those workers that are providing those home and community-based services directly. When I say directly, these are our meal delivery drivers that give our homebound seniors their meals every day, Monday through Sunday, except on 10 holidays. Our congregate meal delivery is being done now in support from our Mayor's Council of Guam, which we have an MOU with for adult daycare and senior center. So although the centers are closed, we still need to provide our COVID-19 service, and of course, providing that nutrition meal to provide for the seniors. That's being provided. On the in-home service side, we do have workers who've been assessed through the case management program for very frail homebound seniors to get personal care, homemaker services, and chores. So we may have seniors that may be bedridden and they need help bathing, and they not have may need help with that, or seniors that need to pick up mail and they can't move as much, or to purchase groceries, and they've got no family support. They need light housekeeping. So those are just some of the range. I know we have over 200 plus of our workers. If you look at the aging network contracted plus ourselves, that's what it would be. So it's not just us, it's our partners that are out there that enable us to provide the services that we're currently providing at this time.
Thanks for throwing out the numbers, because that lets me segue into my next question, because I was going to say, are you able to say, just off the top of your head, if you know, like how many seniors there are on our island that you're able to provide services and, like be able to network with? And then specifically on top of that, how many are centenarians? Because each of us Guamanians have our centenarians hold such a special place in all of our hearts.
Yes, I'm pulling up my sheet right now. Give me a minute. We don't have the centenary count in our total count of seniors that receive services, but we did serve over. I'm trying to open up my. Okay, I've got it.
No problem if you know. I mean, I know it is quite a large number, and I was actually doing a podcast with your agency's director, Art St. Augustine, about a year and a half ago, before the world went crazy, and you were actually preparing for the annual Centenarians Luncheon that goes on, and for us in media, it's always such an honor for us to be able to cover that, because we can celebrate the people who have lived more than 100 years, and and their families are there, and it means so much to them, and we can learn from them, and we can, with us who do stories for a living, we can go to them and we can ask them about their wisdom. And some of them said, I've been alive to see 2 world wars, or at least 1 world war, several conflicts and everything. And I mean, there's just so much rich knowledge you can glean from our island seniors.
Okay, so we just completed our what we call our aging data that was submitted to our Region 9, which is our grantor. So we look at the total clients that we serve on home and community-based services. In 2019, we went from 3,379 up to 4,342, or 28% increase. In terms of clients that we serve that were below poverty, we went from 1,412 to 1,713, or an increase of 21%.
Wow.
In terms of persons with high nutritional risk, we went from 2,239 to 2,677, or an increase of serving people with high nutritional risk of 19.56%. And in terms of significant increases, because we're looking at those that may not have access to meals that are 60 and older, we saw a huge increase, of course, in our congregate meals when our centers closed. So we went from 132,117 to 198,950 meals provided, through in line with COVID. So there was a big increase in terms of what we have faced with the division, and we're still facing to today. So I hope this helps. We don't have in our data reporting specific information on centenarians, because they ask us data as a whole. So that's very different at this time. But in terms of where we're at, I know that back in December, we had the resolution of presentation of the centenarians. And I want to just say thank you to the Office of Senator Shelton for ensuring that we made this happen, to identify and address those centenarians. So there were seven, and of the 7, 6 were females, and we had 1 male. So that still continues to be our trend. I guess we were looking at trending, and that we have still more women centenarians than we do have on the male side. So hope this helps. go ahead and.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, yeah, thank you for the information, and I'd like to pedal back just a second because I do appreciate when you said that the volunteers that the Division of Senior Citizens has are so critical to allow you to continue the services that you provide and the programs that you administer, like the volunteer drivers that deliver the meals. If people are watching this interview right now and they would like to get involved, I know because people message me all the time and they say, like, I'd like to do this. Either it's young people and they say, I want to do it for service learning, or it might be a church group or just a family that says, I know it's the right thing to do. Even with social distancing being what it is right now, if people would like to volunteer, how do they know whether to approach public health or to go to their mayor's office?
Well, they can call us up. They can also send us emails. So let me give you the 2 numbers. And of course, after this interview, I can send you our email address, but they can contact our office at 735-7415 or 735-7421, 8 to 12 or 1 to 5. We are closed from 12 to 1. Our email address is capital B, IBA, BIBA, period, senior citizen.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember. BIBA senior citizens at dphs.guam.gov.
dphs.guam.gov, correct. And I'll send you both that contact information.
Everybody add that into your address book and everything. You're going to want to use it. I mean, it's a wonderful email address, and it's for wonderful people doing wonderful work. Charlene, as you said, you've kind of been on both sides of the spectrum. I guess you said you dealt with the younger demographic, like early in your career. What are some of the contrasts about what public health does when you work with the younger Guamanians and that people on that side of the island, and now for people who are kind of like they're retired, they're in the twilight of their lives? And
I think on child welfare, it's very heart-wrenching. The social workers that go out and they address those referrals that are coming in. I'm not a social worker, so I just want to be clear. But it is sad when you have to go in and remove children, and there are different types of abuses. The big ones being, of course, physical and sexual. Those are just up to now, those are still probably the top 2 highest types of forms of abuse. When you remove kids from their parents, you remove siblings, and if you're looking for placement and they may not be placed together, that may be also emotionally challenging for the kids. On the aging side, until I started working here, I had no idea that this division did so many activities, so many services out there for the seniors, and still continue to do so. I mean, 6 supportive services, from daycare all the way to transportation and meals and caregiver services. Then you've got elder abuse and ombudsman, and then our SHIP and our SMP, which SHIP and SMP also provide assistance to seniors and for those with end-stage renal disease to help them with Medicare counseling and access. We do have a team of volunteer seniors over 60, and they do come in. I mean, these are true volunteers. They do not receive any type of compensation, with the exception of maybe a mileage stipend, and they volunteer their time after undergoing training to help us with any questions that other seniors on Medicare may have, whether it be on billings, to look at their billings, to see if they were correctly charged, and if they weren't, what can they do? So we have a group there as well that provide assistance with us in our efforts.
Well, I do know several people that I've met and several people who I'm related to over the years that have been the beneficiaries of your programs, and they have all said the same thing as, you guys genuinely have the heart to do this kind of work. You do want to make sure that, our beloved seniors, are taken care of and are not forgotten and appreciated and everything. And they all say you're true professionals, and, you just, it's obviously this is not just a job for you. You guys really take this job, to heart.
And I do want to plug in, all right? I know you may or may not be familiar. Our current director came from this agency, the division. So a lot of the activities, a lot of the promotion on Senior Citizens Month events really came from him as the leader here. As much as we were very short-staffed, he still encouraged us to look at what is it that we need to do to get the services out and how best to promote, to make things better. So I do want to bring that out. And of course, that's Director San Augustine. So A lot of the expansions of services really came from him as when he was our administrator. And of course, he really laid the platform for the rest of us. So I do need to bring that up. Thank you.
Oh, certainly, yeah. Like we were able to cover, Art for many, many years when he was running, the conference on aging. And that was also very, very, very wonderful to do. So, Charlene, I'm thinking of an earlier interview we did. Forgive me. Is there anything else you would like to add that the community might be able to?
Actually, I did want to follow up on
here's Sabrina.
something and on the senior citizen centers. What is the plan to get those reopened?
Right. So right now, we know we need to look at the latest CDC guidelines. We know we need to look at the latest public health guidelines. As of this morning, through email, we received communication from our grantor about reopening, and that will not be available for the next 2 weeks. So we did receive that communication. And in terms of their last messaging to us, they want to ensure that we are safe. Our seniors are safe when we do reopen. So we are also ensuring that we are, looking at all parts, CDC guidelines, local public health guidelines, and also latest guidelines from our grantor, which is the Administration for Community Living. As we know, we are still, Guam is still going through with the COVID vaccines. And so that's a big thing that we want to make sure that we look at safety also.
Does the CDC in their guidelines they are recommending that they not open?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay. I'm asking.
Our grantor, yes, I'm not saying that. Our grantor has stated that they will be providing updated guidelines for reopening. That they have also stated that we too need to look at these latest CDC guidelines.
So what does the CDC guideline say?
I don't have on the CDC. I can tell you what I do have on our grantor site. So give me a minute.
Okay.
Their internet's kind of slow, right, Charlene?
Yeah, I don't have. It's just like a lot of information. So sorry about that.
No worries.
I know we had the mayor on earlier
Yeah.
this week, and he was talking about that they don't plan on opening it until they can get 100% capacity because there's so many
So many
medical that-
Mononco, and then they didn't
yeah.
want to be put in a position where how do they select because of social distancing
come.
who can come, who can't. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it kind of sounds like it's not really like a safety protocol issue. It sounds more
Well,
like
it
they
could
want to be all inclusive. I mean, I don't know.
It could be because if reopening happens, we do have transportation, so the seniors will be somewhat congregating. So we need to ensure the social distancing on the bus. And so if the bus is a 12-pack and you can only fit safely have 3 people in, and if majority of, let's say, adult daycare is usually six clients on board, then how do we go ahead and address the other 3? So those are just other things, and maybe
Right.
I'm so just wanting to bring that up. So it's also not just at the center level, but also on the transport side to
Right.
get the seniors to the centers.
Good point.
Yeah,
We
a lot
did
of
have-
things to consider.
Yeah. We had a comment here from Mary. Mary comments in on our Facebook Live feed. Any plans to promote adult foster care services? What about assisted living facilities? The cost for St. Dominic's and or caregivers is unaffordable for most people.
I can't comment on St. Dominic's. I really can't. I
Yeah.
know that assisted living is something that's being explored. I know that that's even above us. We do need to look at the funding, who's going to fund it. That I can say. I can also say that assisted living is, we look at mainland. We did do a review a couple years ago, and a lot of it is not funded by we have some that are not funded by the state. If it's privately funded, you see cost as minimal as $5,000 per month up to $10,000, depending on the type of facility and who is
Right.
running that facility.
But are you seeing that, Charlene, as the trend has been, I mean, just to survive and put food on the table, everybody has to go to work. And so what we're seeing is these nuclear families, which have always included the grandparents and the elderly, now everyone's got to go to work, and no one's left to watch Nana or Tata.
Yes, I mean, we do see that the support system is not like how it has been in the past.
Yeah.
We do know that. We know that there's not that many family support as we see. We used to see in the past we had 10 siblings. Now you're very fortunate to see 3 siblings. So to help with your parents. So I don't have access to pull my information up.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. It's all right. I was just curious.
I can provide it after this
Yeah.
call. I can go ahead and share that with you, and then we can do a follow-up if you
Yeah,
if
that'd
you
be
want
great.
to at this time.
What about caregiver service? Do you guys offer any type of caregiver service?
Yes, through the National Family Caregiver Support Program, they provide temporary respite, and respite is where the respite worker would come in and provide respite, i.e., if the caregiver is needing to bathe the senior or their caregiver. I'm sorry, the caregiver, the respite worker will come in and do bathing. It could be chore services. It could be home light laundry type of services. So they would come in, provide that respite so that caregiver can have some time for themselves. So what's also provided with the caregiver program is they do have support groups. They do provide access for services. So if a caregiver is needing other resources that they may not be aware of, i.e. if it's public benefits, they can connect that caregiver with that type of service, public assistance. And likewise also supplemental services to help with the caregiver's needs, but that is also done through an assessment by the social worker within that program.
Charlene, I wanted to, because I know that you had said you came from working with the youth, right? And seeing some of those tragic, heartbreaking stories with abuse or, neglect or whatever. What do you see on the senior citizen side of the equation? Do you see abuse and neglect out there?
Yes, there is. We have financial neglect happening. So that is up there in terms of our referrals. And if you give me time, I can pull out our APS report was submitted, and we did list our key top abuse and neglect. And I know financial abuse is one of them. So it's one of the top referrals that we've received.
Yeah. You're going to pull that up, or?
Yes, I can pull that up. Give me a minute.
You still have my cell phone? Just send it. If you could send it over, forward me the link too. That'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Is adult protective services under public health?
Yes, it is. It's actually, it is under a division of senior citizens.
So, okay.
So we also have adult protective services.
So
as part of our.
Go ahead while you're pulling that up. What's the process if someone suspects or knows about any type of Mononco abuse?
They can call our office, 735-7415 or 7421. On the weekends and after hours, there is a number which is with our contracted provider to call. So there is an after hour number as well. So if any, and it is for not just adults 60 and older, but these are also for individuals with disabilities 18 to 59 years of age who may have been allegedly abused or neglected. So it could be physical, it could be sexual, it could be financial exploitation.
Yeah. Who's calling? Who calls those numbers? Sure.
Who calls those numbers?
Yeah. Is it
in terms of the
the alleged victims, or is it family members, or neighbors?
Well, referrals come in from different parts. If the centers were open, the centers will be calling in. You may have family members calling in. Yes. Neighbors can also call in. So yes. And just suspecting potential abuse or neglect, if you suspect it, the best thing to do is to just call it in, get the information out. And of course, we would need to know who's the alleged victim, what is the contact number, what is the physical address if we were to go out, what type of abuse, who's the alleged perpetrator. That will help us as we go out to do that.
Can you define financial abuse?
Give me a minute on financial.
I mean, I know what it is, but
Oh,
and you see
I
it.
didn't bring my AP. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see it though, and it's where we have a lot of our Manumco are on fixed incomes or just any kind of income, where they're Social Security or retirement, and so I'm assuming it's family members or even maybe friends of the family who,
Yes,
I mean,
so-
either the Manumco aren't able to get all around, but they've designated someone to handle their financial affairs, and I mean we've all seen it in different families where you get maybe a family member's on drugs, sadly, and they drain out, Nana's bank account or settlement or any type of. Is that what you see, Shar, with the financial abuse?
Well, yes, we see, we have reports of family members giving access to mom's debit cards and using it, and they're supposed to use the money to get groceries or pay the bills, but they take out more than what they should be taking out to take care of mom's needs.
And what's the remedy for that? So when you get, like, let's say someone calls and they're like, "Oh man, my brother's financially abusing our mom." What
So
happens
when
after
that
that?
happens, so when the information does come in, we go out and we do an investigation to determine if the abuse did occur. So APS does do its investigation to address that.
Is Public Health going to be submitting testimony tomorrow during the public hearing on Bill 100? That's the Public Defender Service Corporation.
Yes, my understanding is yes, we will be.
And this is something that's needed. Can you speak more about that?
Okay, so Bill 100, I believe it's 100-36. It's on the Elder Justice Center with Public Defender Services Corp. I do want to just ensure that it is our management will be submitting. When I say our management, talking about our deputy director or director will be submitting formal information on that. So I would not want to state more.
Okay.
Anything else? Sorry, Chris. I found the information. Oh, God.
Go ahead, gush.
Okay, give me a minute. I didn't have everything. I need like 4, I think, workstations, monitors to pull up different things, but give me a minute. So in terms of the type of referrals and we received and that what we had reported for FY 2020, the top referral that we received was for emotional and physical abuse. Then we had financial and property exploitation, and then we had neglect. So those were the top 3. I know that financial exploitation has been our top referrals for the past number of years. When I say past, it's always been one of our top 3. So when you do ask the definition, it is using a senior's, it could be their income, it could be their bank account, their finances, it could be transferring property that they may not be aware of. So that's what we look at when we look at financial exploitation.
Do you have the numbers for or the stats for last year on reports of elderly abuse?
Yes, so we had a total of 111 referrals received. For the elderly with a disability, we had 97 referrals. Adult with a disability was 53 referrals. So total was 261 referrals received.
And this was last year?
Yes, last year for 2020.
Was that an unusually high number, or is that typical?
I don't have it to compare to the prior year. I can say that. So we can look at that and provide information on that.
And
we look at, because we were only reporting for last year, not the prior year. So last year would have ended on September 30th, 2020. The prior year would have been for 2019.
And out of all those cases, is there a backlog?
When you say backlog,
Like with like Child Protective Services, they had all those cases that were referred over to CPS, and it didn't appear that they were being vetted or investigated, and so the governor swooped in and declared an emergency for CPS and transferred authority and jurisdiction and operations to Melanie Brennan over at DYA. So I was just kind of curious, what was the situation with Adult Protective Services? Were there all these hundreds of referrals, and were they actually being investigated?
I think if we could we can have a separate interview with APS with. We do have a social service supervisor, and sometimes it's best when you speak with those who have that direct. We can both be part of this. So we need to do a separate discussion. We can do that.
We will.
Have more appropriate and responsive information.
Right. I got it.
Thank you, though.
Thank you so much, Shar.
Oh, thank you. And then I do have your phone number. I'd have to look at it so I can at least still share the information earlier regarding today's presentation on the division side. And
right.
Yes, feel free to reach out to us.
Right. Did we take you away from
the?
Did we take you away from the presentation, Shar? I'm sorry.
You know what? I asked them to record it so I can watch it later. So hopefully I'll try and do that.
Ay, day dispenser.
That's okay.
Did they have food? I hope you didn't miss out on food.
On the air, so I'm here.
And we appreciate you.
We do, yeah.
And if there's any more clarification, please feel free. Let me know. We do want to get back out there, and if it's separate, Sabrina, on the reopening. I don't know. Maybe Chris, do I give it to you through your WhatsApp or your phone number, so that at least you also have that information, because I do want to walk away knowing that we have responded.
Yes.
Shar, why do you do what you do, though? I mean, I know you're a career government employee, but, being the acting senior citizens division administrator, what keeps you going? What wakes you up in the morning?
Well, it's not just me. It's everybody else who works at public health. What keeps us all going and motivated, right? Even with our, everybody is faced with resource shortage. We know that. For us, it's because it's our, it's more than just our jobs. It's making sure that the services continue, right? So that's what we need to do. The services for us is our clients, which are our seniors, to make sure that we're here and we're doing everything that we can with the resources we do to provide that service for the seniors.
All right.
Thank you, Shar. Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And again, most amazing.
Hold on.
Yeah, and again, most amazing email address ever, everybody. biba.seniorcitizens@dphss.guam.gov. Biba Senior Citizens Division. If you have any information about the programs they run or any of the services they have, or as Shar was saying, if you would like to volunteer, certainly many hands make light work, and they could certainly use your help. So please get in touch with them if you have the calling to help our seniors.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Shar.
Have a great
Text
day.
me.
You too.
Okay, that's right on.
I'm surprised more GovGuam agencies don't have biba.pua or
That would be so hard, though, for reporters who need to message and email different people.
Oh, man. Yeah, that financial abuse, that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
9:39. Yeah, I want to get APS on the show next week, so we'll set that up. Hey, we're going to take a
And you're actually showing us how big public health is. I mean, it is public health and social services.
Right.
And, I mean, there are a lot of things going on underneath that umbrella.
Yeah. And so, I guess that's a lot of complaints, 100, but it's not 1,000, right?
It's more than 100 for sure, though.
100 some, yeah. Okay. 9:39, we're going to take a quick break. We're back with more of the show next. Good morning.
This is Jamie Foxx.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Bud Light Seltzer, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications. KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time each Friday to talk food, taste food, and bring you all the latest and greatest in food from King's Restaurants and Ruby Tuesday Guam, old faves, new hits, and everything on the menu in between. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link.
When we throw things away, where is away? What happens to our waste, and where does it go? As a community of small islands, the waste crisis is a large issue we want to bring into focus. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance presents From Our Nanas for Our Nennies, a video series about taking a holistic view of our present, finding wisdom from our past, and inspiring a better future. Airing every week during Earth Month, brought to you by Humanities Guahan and the National Endowment for the Humanities.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Get the job done the right way by getting the right stuff at East West Rental Center. With years of experience helping builders, we definitely got what you need. Call 646-1463 or visit us in Upper Tumon. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Uno Go, delivering meals from your favorite restaurants and more, including delivering sodas and adult beverages from the Bottle Shack. Visit uno-go.com or download the app today. Also follow them on Instagram and Facebook.
Only one company on Guam provides every solar energy solution under one roof. Micronesia Renewable Energy. You want solar only? They got that. You want solar with batteries? They got that too. You want outright purchase or lease purchase? It's up to you. Does your solar system need a tune-up? That's what they do. For solar energy solutions from A to Z, you can count on MRE. Give them a call at 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, providing real solar solutions built by real solar experts.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by the Bank of Guam and KFC.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KUAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KUAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
It's Dirty Politics Weekly on the Link, live on location. Every week, Chris and Sabrina will interview different political leaders out in the field to address environmental problems in our community. See firsthand how illegal dumps, littering, and other issues are plaguing our beautiful island and what's being done to help. Part of our Sustainability Matters campaign for Earth Month, in partnership with the University of Guam Center for Island Sustainability and Guam Green Growth. Presented by Green Energy Solutions, Inc. Reduce before you produce. GESI.
From radio and back to zero down, they come from zero down, zero down, zero down.
9:44. Good morning.
That was like that zero down song. But for $10 down, you can have an amazing Chinese lunch and or dinner. Courtesy of our friends at the Guam Community College's Culinary Academy, and as you know, Chris always points out because he is a big supporter, not only of education but of food. So you know, if you know this
How is
is
someone a big supporter of food? I have to eat food to maintain my
but you're
aliveness.
You're also a very talented chef yourself.
Thanks, Jay.
But you know, like as we always say, you know, this is
Bree is also a great baker, guys.
She is.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah. So okay. So your judgment on the Chinese style almond cookies is going to be much appreciated. But this is their exam, the students, and it also goes the $10 you give for a meal that is way worth $10. Let's not mess around. You're getting a steal of a deal here.
Right.
This pays their lab fees.
Yeah. And so they're offering 2 meals today. There's a lunch menu, Jay.
Yep. The lunch is okay. Check this out. I want to make sure I get this right. Okay, I'm using my middle-aged Howley guy voice for this thing. You will get pork char siu. You will get ginger chicken, vegetable fried rice, Chinese-style coleslaw. Have you guys ever had Chinese-style coleslaw?
Maybe.
No, but I'm about to.
Does it have raisins in it?
Is that the one with raisins?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming that they have like.
I've eaten at a Chinese restaurant that had coleslaw that had raisins in it.
And a cabbage, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Chinese cabbage, maybe.
Yeah, and also stir-fried green beans. And then for dessert, you get what we have been talking about all morning: the Chinese-style almond cookies. They begin the distribution at 11 o'clock. Of course, you know our friend Chef Paul was on earlier, and he said he and the students have been up at 4, cleaning, preparing. They will soon be boxing, and they will be handing them out to you for only $10. Only cash transactions, please.
Yep, and they asked that you also wear your mask, maintain social distancing.
Yeah.
Sabrina, what's for dinner?
Ooh, for dinner, it's orange chicken, beef and broccoli, vegetable fried rice, vegetable lo mein, fried egg roll, and for dessert, rice pudding.
Mm-hmm. Now, rice pudding definitely will have raisins. At least mine did when I was growing up.
Right, yeah. And Jay actually tried to make rice pudding.
And I burnt it the first 3 times. I don't
I've
even know how
never
that's
tried.
possible, but I burned rice pudding.
Is it like champalado?
It's kind of like champalado, kind of like porridge, like a thing like that. Like I mean,
Kind of
it's
like
got some.
champalado.
But
Like
this,
that?
I don't believe that there's any chocolate in this rice pudding. It's just
No.
like it. Yeah, it's just. I
The
mean,
consistency is like champalado.
yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
But it's very, very good. And after you have all of those entrees and everything like that, that's a great way to just cleanse your palate and be happy.
It's
So-
$10.
Yeah, $10, 4 to 5:30 p.m.
But please try and do the smart thing and line up early because like it's not like 4 o'clock you're gonna have like a bunch of cars. I mean, we've been hearing like by all accounts there are a lot of people lining up because I
Yeah.
mean these are premium meals.
Especially on the lunch service. So there's a lot of people work UOG around the Mila area. So if you guys go early, you should be able to get in and out pretty quick there. And again, it's $10. If you want to leave a tip, hey, no one's going to get mad at you.
Yeah, and as Chris also mentioned, like a lot of these culinary students are already professional chefs.
Yep.
So this is their reputation and their pride, being exhibited and everything like that. These guys, I mean, they cook with love.
Yeah, and the GCC program, it's an award-winning program and
Nationally recognized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the students there, they always work with the Micronesia Chefs Association whenever they host galas and. Well, it's been a while, but
Yeah.
whenever they do, and hopefully they'll return to doing them, they always have the students.
So far, we've tried, they had a Hawaiian menu, they had a Korean menu, and
Last
a
week was Japan.
Japanese menu.
And
Which
so
one
this-
was your favorite so far?
Oh, man.
Mine was the Hawaiian.
I got to go Hawaiian too.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Wow. I got to go with the Hawaiian as well.
Wait, was it Hawaiian? There was the bread pudding, right?
It was the shrimp.
They had the laulau.
Yeah, and it was inside with the.
Oh, brother, they
fish.
want to put the seafood in the leaf and want to wrap them, brother. Then go and want to steam them, then cause it a brook of the mouth. Just like that. That's
Yeah,
how
that
we were
one.
talking after we ate the meal, Mike. We're like, oh, Brie. Oh, this one, oh, no, huh?
You like the kind.
Oh, it's the kind. Totally like that.
That's all I know. That's all
Yeah.
I got.
It's 9:49.
Wait, do we have any idea where they're doing next week?
I might have to pull it up.
Right. Yeah. I know the last one is tomorrow, though, right?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Oh, they're gonna end it with like a nice hometown thing.
Right.
Nice.
The 949. Hey, talking about food, our friends
I made while Bree looks that up, I made a fusion dish the other day. I made chamorro and Creole. I made this at home. I made jambalaya.
How long have you been holding on to that?
Probably since we started doing these GCC interviews.
What?
All right. So, okay. Jason, can you just shut up for a few seconds?
I can turn off his
mic. So
mic.
it's China today, Indonesia
Ooh,
next week,
yeah.
Thailand on the 22nd,
Thai.
India on the 29th.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like you mentioned, it's Guam and the Philippines.
Nice.
Okay, so we started out in the Aloha State. We're taking our tour through Southeast Asia and some of the other Asian nations, and then we're coming back home.
There you
Nice.
Let's do Cover Me, brought to you by Burger King.
Oh,
Where-
wait, there she is.
Oh.
Okay, we are going to have visual evidence
Right on.
of
Well,
this amazing Chinese
We're going
lunch.
to come back and show you guys this great
Okay.
meal that you can get at GCC.
Be right back.
In the
BRB.
meantime, let's go ahead and do Burger King's Cover Me, where you can get the new Steakhouse King. Man, that was good. Flame broiled
Oh,
goodness. Cheesy with bacon, and there was like a sriracha mayo or something on top. It was good.
So good.
Burger King, the Steakhouse King, proud to present Cover Me this morning with Fat Tofu. Beautiful. Fat tofu, man, they're so good.
Ska is
Yep.
alive and well.
Always good to have a lot of horns on a track. 9:56.
Chicago would agree.
Yeah, guys, I went shopping at my favorite grocery store yesterday, and they sell reusable bags. But I remembered that I had a reusable bag in the vehicle.
That's a big one.
A very special reusable bag here, especially for our Link fam. This is our brand new 2021 Breeze 93.9 FM reusable shopping bag. It's a two-piecer, okay? You have the bag, okay? Isn't that nice? And then you have the base. And this is what you set in the bottom so that you have a firm bottom. Everybody loves a firm bottom.
Yeah. So we're giving it away.
So that's good.
Oh, we're giving this away. I thought it was.
That's good for shoppers. That's good for students.
See?
That's good for
Nice platform there. It's boom.
keep your toys in there.
Right.
It's legal.
It's legal.
That's always nice.
You're going to be complying with the law. Yeah, so we've got a bunch of these, and then for Earth Month, by the way, we're also giving away a bunch on our Instagram at KUAM News and at KUAM Communications. But we're going to give out one of these a day for a while. But before we do that, this was just to get you guys malagu, eh? We're going to do this here.
You can, if you get one of those, you can bring those to GCC and
put your food in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
And if you don't win it here, you can always win it on our social media, on
Our
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. Our Instagram?
Yes, on KUAM News.
Or
Instagram.
KUAM Communications, too. But KUAM News, check it. In the meantime, wow.
Here it is.
China has landed.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we have not invented smell-o-vision just yet.
Hey.
But it smells wonderful here in the studio because there it is. Okay, so once again, we have.
Hold on, let me get a whiff. Oh.
Okay, we have the. So I'm gonna follow Mike right here. So we
Yeah.
have the pork char siu. There you go, Mr. Villagomez. We also have the ginger chicken, which is there on the opposite corner. Obviously, the vegetable fried rice, which looks perfect. Nice mix. We got some peas in there, some carrots, of course, and the rice is just fried perfectly. The Chinese-style coleslaw. So there you go. You got carrots in there. Of course, the chefs were talking about the julienne carrots that they have. And then stir-fried green beans right there in the middle. And there's also some broccoli in there, too. So
Did you know that char siu means fork roast?
Oh, really? Okay.
Fork roast, yeah.
Is the coleslaw cooked? Does it look cooked?
Can you feel the heat?
Can you
coming
feel
off
the
of it?
heat within my...
Okay, and there are the Chinese-style almond cookies. That was not what I was expecting,
Oh,
and
man.
I am blown away. That exceeded all expectations, and I was
Yeah.
thinking very, very high.
So, guys, the char siu, this is just a little bit of background for you guys, the more you know. It literally means fork roast, char being fork, both noun and verb, and siu being roast, after the traditional cooking method for the dish, which involves long strips of seasoned boneless pork skewered with long forks and placed in a covered oven or fire.
In the oven, really.
In the oven.
In the oven, okay.
So that's $10, guys. Go to GCC, the Multipurpose Center. Can't miss it. Grab you a meal. Treat your coworkers. Definitely encourage that. And now let's go ahead and give away this reusable bag here on the Breeze. We'll take the first caller, 637-0094, and we will give you absolutely free this Breeze reusable tote bag. It is 10 o'clock. Viewers on KUAM TV, thank you so much for jamming with us. My name is Chris.
I'm Sabrina. I'm just watching Jason just.
Model this bag.
Yeah.
There are many things you can do with this bag. You can use it as a tote. You can put stuff in it. You make
Put
a
it
little
around your
bird.
neck. Put it around your neck.
You make a little bird.
You make a necklace.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, go to our Instagram.
And you know what? This is rugged stuff, though. This is gonna last you many years.
It's very durable.
Yeah, very durable.
Okay, KUAM TV. My name's Chris.
I'm Sabrina.
Esta. Adios.
Bye.